So thank you for coming to visit another episode of Ones Fear Us. They fear one us. They fear us being able to have honest, loving dialogue and basically get along with one another and understand we have more things in common than we have different. As you can see, some of you all who are my subscribers, and thank you again for the 80 plus subscribers that I've gotten, and that you guys have kind of hung in there with me because I really haven't produced as much content as I actually have on file. 2026 is going to be a change in that. I have been on other social media platforms because, candidly speaking, I have more followers over there. So that's the main reason why I'm over there. I've gotten a lot of traction for the message. And the message is basically we're in this thing together, even though we might have voted differently in the last election, 2 or 3 or 4 elections prior to. We're still, when it boils down to it, we're still considered American citizens. I myself am African by blood and American by birth. So therefore, I cannot detach myself from all what is happening now in our country. And it's devastating. It's really sad for a lot of people who believed in the democracy. They believed in the American dream. They believed in the founding fathers. They believed in everything that the pale-faced founding, quote unquote, founding fathers fed to them. These people believed that if they worked hard and kept their nose clean and abide by man-made laws, then they would have their portion of the American dream, life, liberty, and the pursuit of happiness, right? Unfortunately, we're seeing that the way that this world is and the way that this country is going, that there's really all of this has been a lie, a white lie that unfortunately a lot of people believed on both sides. And when I say both sides, I mean not just Democrats and Republicans or independents in the political party. I also mean those on the racial lines as well. Black people, some of them actually believed that if they abide by the law, kept their nose clean, and went and got an education and things of that nature, then they will be treated fairly and equally. And white people were taught that basically, the world is yours. And when you look around in our media, in our politics, and so forth and so on, why would you not believe that the world is yours, that there's really not too much inequality in your world? It happens, but not in your world. So the premise of this live was kind of a 3 or 4 or 5 for several reasons. One in particular, you see the Dems funded ICE again. And on my last post, I included that 7 Democrats actually voted for funding ICE. They voted for these criminals being able to come on the scene and take an innocent white man down for simply trying to do his duty as a medical responder to look after someone who had been beaten, who was being beaten and brutally attacked by ICE, which is supposed to be there to protect and to focus on immigration, and yet they didn't. There's this white woman that was down in the ground, and apparently she was had been harmed, and this man, Alex Pretti, went to try to offer support. Unlike Renee Good, where a lot of the MAGA supporters tried to demonize this woman called her a poor mother and just all kinds of things, saying that it was her fault. She should have done this and she should have done that. Well, I implore you all to tell me what could Alex Pretti had done. He was disarmed. ICE disarmed him, and he was on the ground. So there was no imminent danger. And we see that with the pictures and the videos that are being shown. And yet our country is basically being silent and allowing this to happen without any type of reprimand. Yes, the Minnesotans are protesting, and I'm proud of them, and other places around the world and around the country are also protesting. But the main people that allowed this to happen are still in office. You still have Kristi Noem, who is the Secretary of Homeland Security, that happened under her watch. You have that, I can never get his name right, Bongino, something like that. I can never get his Vivino, who knows? You know him, the little skinny white dude who's supposed to be controlling all of this. He's there, and yet nobody's saying anything about that. The fact that this man was unarmed and they basically just took him out. Like, there's no other way of putting it specifically. They took him out. And nobody's really saying anything about it. As a matter of fact, Hakim Jeffries, who is your whip for the Democrats, minority whip, he was not able to keep the 7 Democrats, and I have their names for anybody who didn't want to look at my post. Marie Perez, who's a U.S. representative from Washington on 3rd District, Jared Golden, Tom Souze from New York, 3rd District, Lauren Gillen from the 4th District of New York, Henry Cuellar, and Vicente Gonzalez, both U.S. representatives from Texas, and also Don Davis from North Carolina, the 1st District. And I spent a lot of time in North Carolina, so anyone who's listening in North Carolina, I took the time to let you know, if you don't know who your representative is, it's anybody who's living in the areas of Elizabeth City, Goldsboro, Rocky Mount, and Roanoke Oaks. So if you're around in those areas, your Don Davis is the person, and he's a Black man that actually voted for more funding from ICE, even though it is said that they have more funding than the Marine Corps, which is one of the 4 branches of military that we have here in the United States. They still funded more money for them to terrorize us in our American streets. That's domestic terrorism. And yet, unfortunately, we don't see it as that, nor do pale-faced white men see it as that. And a white man, unfortunately, was unalive, and he didn't do anything. He was unarmed. So this doesn't necessarily fall on the Republican side as far as I'm concerned. This falls on the Democratic side, because with all due respect to that other side, what have y'all been doing? Y'all had enough time the first time this man was in office, and you sugarcoated. You didn't believe that he had the power that he did. And I mean him, I'm referring to Donald J. Trump. He had more influence than you all gave him credit for, because you all had an arrogance about you that you thought that the average Joe could see past all the shenanigans that Donald Trump was presenting. Well, you now can eat all of those words, and you have, your hands are bloody. I'm not even going to look at the repugnance, because this is what they are supposed to be doing. You Democrats are the ones that claim that you're not like them. You claim that you stand up for equality. You claim that you stand up for justice. You claim that you stand up for the average American citizen. And yet, when it's time for you to stand up and say what you need to say and put your chest out, you give them a slap on the wrist and you give them a dirty tweet or a bad letter that said you better do this and you better do that. Well, that didn't happen when the Republicans were on the minority. They basically told y'all what they were going to do, and y'all said okay. And that's why we're in the situation that we're in now. It's not the Republicans, it is you. You are the reason why these people are no longer here because you had no backbone for almost 7, 8 years that you could have prepared for this. But you, again, didn't believe that this man was going to do what he told you he was going to do. So I hold y'all accountable. Hakim Jeffries, Chuck Schumer, Nancy Pelosi, there are more. But those three in particular, they've been around for what, 15 years? And what have they done for the Democrats, the Democratic Party? You didn't allow them to feel the burn, right? That's what you didn't allow them to do. And look at us now. All of us, we're being laughed at in the throughout the world. You have Putin, who is basically using the United States to do their planning, if you will, with NATO, so they can get with Ukraine and take them out. There are so many things that we could have done differently that we chose not to because nobody wanted to pay attention to what was going on with our politics or their politricks. We've seen this, some of us have been seeing this happen for at least 14 years, and there's no exaggeration with that. And yet the Democrats are looking like, what happened? When did this happen? And why are people acting this way? When you created this, because you decided to remain silent. You decided to remain complicit. You decided to take corporate money. When you all really decided to sleep with the enemy, the little bit of hope that some of us might have had for your party was thrown out the window. It was thrown out the window and it has not been back since. Because if you truly are a democratic person that believes in democracy, then both of these parties should make you sick. It should literally make you ill because neither one of them believes of anything like that. If that be the case, then we wouldn't be talking about Alex Pretti. We wouldn't be talking about a Keith Porter, who was a black man who was unalived on New Year's Day or New Year's Eve in Los Angeles by an unarmed ICE agent. Right, that part. I'm sure people didn't know about him because we were so consumed with Renee Good and now Alex Pretti. This is where, with all due respect to us, we can do a couple of things at once, right? We don't have to just focus on one thing at one time. That's how they kind of get us they get us hoodwinked and bamboozled, if you will, because they give us more than one thing and we don't know what to do with it. It's like we spaz out and we can't allow that to happen. If you're a democratic person, then you should feel some kind of way that these things are going on in your backyard. This should remind you, if you're old enough, this should remind you of the Jim Crow era. If you're old enough, where there were men out there like what these men children, emotional men children, because they weren't men, these white men, these pale-faced individuals were out there rounding up black and brown people, hosing them with water, and sicking dogs on them, unaliving them, bucking them, lynching them. You name it, they were doing it, just like they did with Alex Pretti. If you see him right there, this is nothing new under the sun for people that are black and brown. What should be shocking to you is they have the now caucasity to be doing it to you, white America. The fact that these pale-faced men, children who carry guns and are authorized to pew you without even a hesitation, the fact that these people are armed and dangerous should alarm white Americans, because for so long, with all due respect to you all, the white privilege kind of covered you that you didn't realize that you too was in danger. Well, now that you voted for this man, and yes, Democrats, you did too. What I mean by that is you and I and everybody and their mama who knows anything about politics knows that the electoral college system needs to be chunked because it is irrelevant in this day and age. And yet the Democrats continue to go along with it and still try to sell that to American voters to make them believe that their vote really matters, and it doesn't. So I hold Democrats accountable as well. It is time for the Democratic Party, the supporters, to hold the Democrats accountable, because it can't be the lesser two evils for the rest of our lives. What kind of voting system is that? Voting for the lesser two evils. And this is all you have. This is all you've been doing. This is all I've known myself personally since 1976, I want to say, with Jimmy Carter. I can say Jimmy Carter was probably the last decent president that we had before it went to hell in a basket. I mean, really haven't seen anything since. What we can say about President Obama was that he was presidential, right? We can give him that. He was presidential. We didn't have to worry about, Greenland and Europe and Iceland and Norway and France and Italy, and trying to think of other countries that we didn't have to worry about so much when Obama was in office. That's the one thing I can give him credit for. You know what I'm saying? We didn't, we weren't looked at and laughed at like we are with Donald Trump. And again, we shouldn't be too mad at Donald Trump because he is just who we have been since the beginning of time. The chickens are coming home to roost. This is nothing new under the sun. Donald Trump showed us who he was, and people chose not to believe him. Well, now that we have this tragedy that has taken place in a very pale-faced state, and really nice people who have rallied around this injustice and these families, Renee Good and Alex Pretti. We need to do the same. We need to make our voices count. And when I say we, I mean Americans. And let's be even more specific, white Americans. This is your opportunity. This is your opportunity to show up and show out, because this is your fight. This is your system. These are your policies. These are your people. They're not our people. And I know you're probably saying, well, she said she's an American, and she says yes, I'm African by blood and American by birth, which means when they even see me, it doesn't matter that I'm an American. What matters to them is that I'm African by blood, which means that I have hue that they will see first, and they won't ask any questions. We've seen that with Alex Pretti. We've seen that with Keith Porter and others that have come before them. We need to reel this ICE agency in. We need to hold Kristi Noem accountable for not just this tragedy, but let's not forget about the 200 plus Venezuelans that are still over in El Salvador at El CICOT. Over only 3% of them actually had a criminal record, right? So again, let's not forget about that. Let's not forget about the two people that were pwned in a boat in Venezuela, the Caribbean Ocean. Let's not, forget the fact that we now citizens of Greenland are now having to go through therapy because something that our president said and threatened them. Basically, either you give us your land or we're going to take it. Those people aren't used to those kinds of threats, and some of them now are experiencing having traumatic experiences, and they're actually having to seek therapy because of our president. This is, this. Some people wouldn't have thought that these types of things would go on in the land of the free and the home of the brave, but for people of color, it's never really been home of the free. We've never been free, and so that's where we have to kind of call it what it is. White people, welcome to our world. And that's kind of where, and I don't mean to sound mean or cruel, I'm just being honest about it. Welcome to our world. What you're seeing in your streets right now is what people of color experience to have some type of civil rights. We tried to protest, and we got that. What you're seeing with Alex Pretti, what you saw with Renee Good, Keith Porter. I will continue to say his name because a lot of people are not even familiar with Keith Porter, the young man that was unalived in Los Angeles during New Year's Day or New Year's Eve by an off-duty ICE agent. And no one's getting justice for him. There are apparently other areas in the country that are experiencing ICE raids as well, like I think Portland, New Mexico, a place in New Mexico, and there are 3 other places in the United States that's not getting the coverage that Minnesota has. And the reason why Minnesota got this coverage, again, do your research, it's not me just saying it. According to sources, Minnesota is one of those states that there were some questions regarding the votes there. So it still goes back to the election and politics. So it's not even that he cares about immigration. Apparently, immigration is not even a major problem there in Minnesota, but they made it one, demonized Minnesota so that they would have white American people in support of this Gestapo agency going into an American city and terrorizing American citizens. Like there's no other way of getting around that or saying it nicely. That's exactly that's what's going on. And there is a Gestapo. These are behaviors that happened before the dictator from Germany did what he did. And we must remember that Frumpleton has often said that he admired Hitler, right? He also admires a dictator like a Putin. He also admires Xi Jinping from China. He admired, I can't think of the guy, and I should, Hernandez from Honduras. I can't think of the guy from South Korea, but you know who it is. If I say that, you know it. He appreciates dictators, and that should tell you something there as well. Again, I come on here because when I found out that the Democratic Party, 7 people voted for more funding for ICE, and Hakim Jeffries, who's your minority whip, was not able to reel them in. That's not good leadership. That's not advocating for the people, Hakeem. And yeah, I'm gonna call him on that. And people be like, "Why are you gonna say that? Because he black and you black." Listen, when it comes to politics, we need to cut all this out with the color line. You know what I'm saying? We have to call it what it is. And you got to ask yourself real strong, what have the Democrats done for me lately? And when I say lately, the last 10 plus years, this last decade, what have they done that you can really talk about and you can, give them your chill, you can give them cheering and support. I'll wait. And I'm not saying that to be mean. I assure you all, I know you hear me laugh, a little laughter in my voice, but It's only because, like I said, some of us have been kind of following politics for decades, and we kind of saw the writing on the wall come 2000 when Bush Jr. Stole that election. And no Democrat really stood up to say, we want to recall. You know what I'm saying? The House. I'll never forget this because I was in Florida at the time, and we had to evacuate because some stuff was going down. But I remember, looking at the situation that was going on in Florida with the elections, with the Electoral College, and how just dirty it was. This is nothing new for Georgia. 2000, that it was clear that they had stole these votes, and yet the House of Representatives, Democrats, they stood up and they were basically saying, we just need one senator, you know what I'm saying, so that we can recall this, so we can say we want a recount. And not one senator stood up for that, the representatives for Congress. Not one. And we did have Democratic senators at the time. Not one. And that was in 2000. And it hasn't gotten any better. If anything, it's gotten worse. So for some of us that have seen the writings on the wall, this is nothing new under the sun. It's just new for white people. It's new for you white people because it's happening to you. And you got to ask yourself, when is enough going to be enough for you? Because for Black people, I encourage us with all due respect, sit this one out. And what I mean by that is, if you want to do a petition, great. If you want to do signatures, awesome. And those kinds of things. If you want to sell a t-shirt, awesome. And give the funds to whomever, great. But when it comes to us on the front line, a bullet doesn't have a name. And let's be real. When we were out in the front lines, they were not with us, the majority. A few of them were, but as a collective, no, they were not. So as a collective, we should not. And it's not a slight. It is a sense of urgency for them that they need to step up and do something about their own. They need to step up and correct these systems that they created to oppress us. Now it's oppressing them. That's what I mean when I say the chickens are coming home to roost. We have to allow natural consequences to take place, people of color, and it's okay. Because again, we have been in the trenches for however long, and we had a few all-weather liberals that stood with us, thick and thin. A few. For the most part, we have had what the term is called fair weather liberals. And fair weather liberals are those that basically believe that everything is copacetic. Yeah, there are a couple things we can work on, but for the most part, racism is it's not really like that anymore. And, we really have equality because Obama won. We can live beside you in some areas, and we can go to school with you in some areas. So we've arrived. That's more of a and with a fair weather liberal, whatever that current event or that cause is that's convenient for them, then they're on board to support us. But if it's not anything for them, then they do not support us. That's the difference between an all-weather liberal and a fair weather liberal. Look it up. It's not me. This really is the case. So with that, we are now finding out who are all-weather liberals and who are fair weather liberals. And for people of color, again, let's make this as a teachable moment for us so that we can know, for the most part, who's for us and who's not. And it's not, it's not a slight. But I came on and because I was really concerned about when I saw that image of Alex Pretti, and I saw that gun like literally behind his head and how unarmed he was. And there was like 5 people around him. Uh, I'm not gonna lie to y'all, it hurt my spirit, anybody that knows me, for the most part, knows that I'm not religious, I'm spiritual and empathetic, with that. I'm an empath. And so I can't really watch stuff right when everybody else does because I pick up on everybody's energy and sometimes it can be too much. So I'd heard about this man, and today I was watching, I've had it. If anybody's listening, I've had it. It's a podcast with 2 white women. When I tell you they are on it, doggone it, I would encourage y'all to watch them along with the Midas Touch. They also are a good independent source. I'm trying to think of a couple of others that I actually listen to, and I'm thinking about actually re redoing my Twitch and actually going online for about 2 hours per day and actually addressing or discussing some of the news feed, some of the time feed articles and sources that are coming to me, so I could give it to you all when I receive it, and having discussions about it, kind of like a female version or a woman version of Roland Martin. If any of y'all are familiar with Roland Martin, I think that is where part of me is going to go with this channel. Hey, Boogie, I didn't even see you were there. You probably gone by now, but I appreciate you stopping by. I appreciate it. But I'm thinking about making One Sphere Us more of like a news current event type of channel, that the information that I get, I can read it aloud, kind of summarize it, and ask for input because y'all, with the content that I actually have, and I'm going to be. Oh wow! Thank you so much, El Boogie. I appreciate you here listening. Yeah, I've been kind of all over the place on this one. It was just a lot going on. When I saw that picture, my heart. And then I found out who he was. Alex Pretti, I mean, that he was an ICU nurse for 7 years. That in all counts and purposes, and he was a good guy. Nobody said anything negative about him. Would do anything for anyone. His patients loved him. His coworkers respected him. His family adored him. And there's somebody that's basically no longer here because of what? Because Democrats continue to allow these things to happen. And I think El Boogie, for me or anyone else is listening, and anybody's been on my TikTok. And by the way, like I say, I appreciate 700 followers that I've got in, I want to say, not even 3 weeks, something like that. It was amazing. I appreciate that traction that I've gotten. I'm heading back over there this evening. And El Boogie, if you have TikTok, feel free to follow. It gets real. What's the word? It gets very animated over there. The person that y'all have heard over here is not necessarily who I am there, which is not a bad thing. It's me, but it's a little more raw and uncut over there. So I'm preparing you. If you come over there, you may hear some things. You're going to hear some knowledge too. Don't get it twisted. But it's very, very interesting on that side on my TikTok. So if you haven't followed me, definitely follow me over there. I do more content over there because, like I said, I have like 600 plus followers or something like that, which, according to a lot of people, or according to a lot of people, that's not too much. But for me, it's growing organically. And that's what I'm hoping this channel is going to do too, to kind of grow organically. And I think that's where I want to incorporate like Twitch and fan base. You may not be familiar with fan base, but it's another app that was co-created by a guy named Isaac Hayes the third. Now, Isaac Hayes sound familiar? It's Chef on South Park or Shaft. Just El Boogie, you're little too maybe too young for Shaft. You may not the latest version, the old version Shaft. He composed that music as well. But anyway, fan base is a minority owned social media platform that was created by him. So I'm not really over there too much, but because it's a minority owned social platform, I tell people about it as well. But I'm usually on TikTok. Right, Isaac Hayes. He's the singer. His son, Isaac Hayes the third, is actually the co-creator of Fanbase. Right now, the craziness is that it's only been up and running for about maybe four plus years, a little bit before the pandemic. And at first it was decent. Now, who knows? But okay, I'm aware. Yeah, his son looks just like him. But I don't go over there as much. And I said I was going to try to increase that, but I don't know. It's just something about the vibe. It's just different. So that's why I'm kind of staying put over there on my TikTok because, I average about, I don't know, I want to say between 900 and 1,000 views per live, which again doesn't make a lot of money or anything like that, but the traction is really awesome. And the conversations that we have with the panelists, we learn things about each other. We learn things about the different perspectives and kind of why we think the way we think, which I really enjoy, especially when MAGA supporters come up and they have a notion that that I'm going to be X, Y, and Z. And then when they actually start dialoguing, they don't necessarily want to leave the panel because they've actually learned some things through our exchange. So that kind of makes me, I'm not going to lie, it does give me a little warm and fuzzy feeling because that's again what One Sphere Us is about. They fear one us. They fear us being able to come together collectively in spite of differences and understanding we have more things in common than we have differences. So focusing on those strengths of our commonality and building a minority, basically rebuilding a society that is based on equality and justice finally, that it will finally be making America great, period. What it's supposed to be, what it was intended to be, how it was before the pale-face invasion of 1492. So you have a secret troll account. Come on through there. Come on through. I won't tell nobody if you don't tell nobody, but I do. I'm not gonna lie to you. I think I saw a Queen come through sometime, maybe a week ago, maybe 2 weeks ago. It humbled me. And I think Tiffany came through maybe a week ago, maybe 2 weeks ago, because I really don't really talk about my other social media platforms or anything like that. And girl, I be honest with you, I don't know why I never really talked to y'all about it. I think it was one that I was just supporting everybody else. But now, I'm in a place now where I have to increase my content. I have to increase my visibility because if TikTok is any kind of indicator, this type of platform is needed where people on both sides can come together and actually have a conversation as opposed to talking over one another and things of that nature, which we don't do over there on my social media outlet, my other platform. the two things that I do tell them, basically, when one person's speaking, another person's actively listening, and vice versa. We're not listening to talk and to respond. We're listening to comprehend and engage in conversation. And the other one is, if a woman is speaking, specifically a Black woman, you're going to shut the hell up and you're going to let them land their plane whenever they choose to. And I say to them, because not just because I'm a woman of color, but I know how it is to be policed in other platforms. You're not going to police us here. This is going to be a safe space for people that look like me. So those two things, El Boogie, you may hear me say it and tell them shut the hell up. That's usually why they're not doing those two things. Other than that, I tell them all to come on over there and rock out. As a matter of fact, I'm going over there later on this evening. It'll be around 8 o'clock my time, Eastern Standard Time, to address just this, and you again will be amazed if you come. The stuff that they say. Okay, I'm just gonna say it like that. Hold on for 1 second. This is crazy because I'm already being banned. That is crazy. So yeah, I don't even know if. Hold on for a second. Yeah, see, that's just crazy. This is really, really crazy because, yeah, I'm paying attention. Don't go anywhere. But I was looking at my last post, and by this time I would have had about 300 views, at least 300 views. What the world? Hold on. But yet, I don't have any, which is interesting. Hold on. Wow, that is crazy. But I tell you what, I'm going over there for sure this evening. Hey, Queen, thank you so much for coming through. I appreciate you both coming through. I basically this live Queen was in a nutshell. I saw this picture of Alex Pretti, and when I tell you, seeing that pium pium, like right behind his head, that like caught me off guard. That took me aback. Yes, I know I should be used to the brutality. Yes, the outwardness of the savagery, but it caught me off guard when you see all of these pale-faced men, children surrounding this one. He looked really feeble. I'm not taking anything away from him, kind of thin-boned type of individual. Took him, disarmed him, and then pew him in the head. And you still have people that are in support of funding this agency. And Democrats in particular, 7 of them, Queen, allowed them to pass this law that they have more funding than the Marines. This is what was reported through I've Had It, which is a podcast with 2 white women. They are funny. If I tell anybody, watch them, go on and subscribe, because this is what we need more of. We need to see more white women in particular speaking out on their white men and their white systems. And we need to go on and enjoy our popcorn and our snacks and allow them to fix their mess. Because again, oh, you watch them, so you know what I'm talking about. They're like, we need more people being able to speak like that. Because again, Queen, I ain't got no problem saying to you, them, and anybody else, I'm gonna hide behind them and let them do it and piggyback and say, yeah, get them, because it's their turn. It's their turn to be out in the forefront. And it seems like, people like them, they get it. They're holding the Democrats and Hakim Jeffries and Chuck Schumer and Nancy Pelosi and all these people that have basically sent y'all down, Democratic supporters. They sent y'all down to the slaughterhouse too. They set y'all up to be disappointed. And that's what's crazy to me. So that's what kind of caught me off guard when I saw this human being. Like, he's just a freaking human being. And he seemed like a really great human being that wanted to just help people. That's what cost him his life. He was a freaking nurse. It's like me. I'm a qualified mental health professional. It's like if I was, let's say in Walmart and I saw, an individual having a meltdown. And, they may want to hurt themselves or hurt someone else. I can't sit here and say that I'd be like, well, I don't know what to tell them. That's not me. Knowing me the way that I am, I probably would go over there to try to de-escalate the situation because that's just my nature. This guy seems like he was just that type of person, that caring, empathetic, nurturing type of person, and apparently was raised right by his parents or his family, because he was apparently going to help another woman that was being terrorized by this ICE group of people, the way the story is. And when you see the pictures, hold on, but Keyshawn, doesn't it seem a bit gaslighted having these conversations with non-Black people when they're obviously aware? I'm going to be honest with you, L Boogie, they aren't aware. And this is where, come on over to my TikTok, because I educate them and I re-educate them about the miseducation that we all got. A lot of them, according to even Jane Elliott and Tim Wise and those white anti-racist scholars, and it's shown empirically, like empirical research, they're not taught about this stuff, just the opposite. And that's why it's catching, like, these white women. I've had it. That's why I like watching them, because the reality that we have had and our families have had for centuries, they're just now realizing I am no longer protected under this white privilege. And that's what they're seeing at this pay. Candy, thank you so much for stopping by. I appreciate it. Yeah, that was crazy. They beat his ass to his right. Supported by the federal. You didn't get the notification. Candy, I don't know, man. I don't know what to tell you, but I'm glad you stopped by. I appreciate you all. But, going back to your answer, El Boogie, I would say literally 65%, about 65% of white Americans do not know their history. They do not know how everything has been whitewashed, because our educational system purposefully miseducates us and them, because in their mind, and it makes sense, if we keep the white people dumb, then they will basically be our pawns and be our overseers for the next generation of slaves. And this is who and how the system in America was designed and has been maintained through white supremacy. So I'm not excusing. I don't want you to think that I am, El Boogie, but I can honestly say that just like a lot of Black people don't really understand why things are the way they are, I can honestly say that white people were not supposed to even pick up on what some of them are learning now. Technology helped us with that, because we had no choice when our dirty laundry was being aired. We had to kind of finally acknowledge, okay, our dirty secret, which is slavery, and how everything came to be. And that's what's going on with this cognitive dissonance now, with like these women from I've Had It or the Midas Touch, who were Republicans, but they're not, let me go here. This is a new bunch of Republicans that don't even like the MAGA supporters. It's not that they are pro-democratic. Don't get that twisted. That's literally the lesser of the evils, because they still repugnant, right? However, they're not MAGites. They're not those of the sycophants who only follow Trump blindly. So I do follow them, because they do bring the the receipts, if you will. They do have the resources that you can go back and do your research for yourself, which I really love. And they bring wonderful people to the forefront, like Pia Zadia. Now, I'd never heard of this person, but this sister, she got some melanin in or some kind of how. But before she was 30 years old, she created a daggone school in Harlem, and she graduated 100% of her students, and she was under 30 years old. She's running for a seat in Jupiter, Florida, and Florida is turning more blue. So some things in certain areas are happening for our good, but on the average, not so much. I think because of my feelings during family had them being living through Jim Crow, I was taught a lot of stuff. Exactly, Al Boogie. Our experiences, because of the skin that we're in, and our families' lived experiences, we were introduced to race and human relationships and how that whole thing works at a very young age. But let the truth be told, it was for our safety, because we had to know who to trust and who not to trust. And kind of like what Queen white folks learning now, because now they're getting treated like everybody else. That's exactly it. And hopefully, with them listening to other white outlets like a Midas Touch, I've had it, Keith Edwards, Brian Tyler Cohen, a couple of others. No TYT. I haven't really followed TYT in a few years because, well, that's a story within itself. But, and you say you have zero tolerance for racism. I don't know if I can't say if I have tolerance or I'm not tolerant. I'm not really sure. I just know it exists. And I know there are three components of it, three parts: individual racism, group racism, and systemic racism, institutionalized racism. And I do my best to try to re-educate, especially the pale face when they come over to my live, as to kind of how they fit into the picture. And now, do I have a link to, you know what I did? No. I think I do, Candy, but I have not been using my StreamYard in forever. So I'm gonna be honest with you. It's there somewhere. I remember copying it, putting it somewhere. I don't remember where. Hold on, let me see something. I don't know. Let me see. Let me try something. I don't know. We're gonna try to see. But at any rate, that's kind of I have a thought I want to share that I think is better than and check it out. I think I might have found it, and I think I might have dropped it, but I'm not really sure. We'll find out if you can get on. But getting back to El Boogie and Queen, because we're kind of talking and kind of saying something, the same things that are similar. They should know better, and one would think after so much that they would know better, but they don't. I think I just saw somebody. Let me see something here. Yep.
Hey.
Hey, Candy Cane, can you hear me?
I can hear you. Can you hear me okay?
I can. And you all let me know if y'all can hear, because my connection kind of goes in and out. I'm having some Wi-Fi issues.
Okay. So I was trying to figure out a way to say this and not have it sound all screwed up when I type it. And just help me flesh this idea or this thought out. So I feel like the issue is white America is just now realizing what everyone else is realizing, or like what the minorities have known for a long time. As minority people in America, we have had to learn how to live with, adapt to, and get along with everybody. So I feel like there's a higher level of empathy that most minority people, especially Black people and like the Latinos who have been here for generations, have had to have in order to survive and live in America. I feel like, and these are just my own personal opinions, white people never had to have that same level of empathy because the world kind of rose, the sun rose and set on them. Like For instance, main culture, pop culture, white culture, everything that has been kind of seen as American has to do with white people. So, like, you never had to think outside of your own bubble unless you lived around or coexisted with Black people. What I'm trying to say is middle America, where you don't see your next door neighbor or anybody that you really run into as different than you. They're not a bunch of other race people. Then you never have to think about what it's like to be another race person. So you have the white privilege of ignorance on your side. And so I think that empathy is not learned until it actually happens to them. And then, like, oops, all of a sudden, well, damn, this is what the Black people were talking about, or this is what the Mexicans were talking about. It sometimes takes for people to go through it themselves, as ignorant as that may sound, for them to finally get it. And that's the sad part of it all, is that I feel like we're in the awakening, the F around and find out season for a lot of white people, because for the longest time, we had the Trayvon Martins, we had the Tamir Rice, we had all of these people who died at the hands of law enforcement in some way or another. Not George Floyd, what's his name? George Zimmerman, although that was part of the whole Trayvon Martin thing. Um, I'm just trying to say, I feel like as minorities, we have been conditioned since inception to learn to live with white people, and white people have been conditioned since inception to learn to get the fuck from around us first chance they got with white flight. And so now empathy is coming into play because they're being put into the shoes of the minorities. This is really a battle between um, conservative white people versus everybody. And so if you're a liberal white person, you're seen, in my eyes, in my opinion, as equal to, damn near equal to niggas.
Candy Cane, listen, you dropped a couple of mics with that. You said it very well. Thank you for coming up and giving us details, because you're exactly right. And this is what I was kind of getting with El Boogie as well, where, with her lived experience in Mississippi, her parents, her grandparents, people taught her that. Our people taught us this, because for us, it was also survival. We had to learn how to code switch in order to literally to get along in this white world. And they never had to, because the world has always been white. And that's what I hear you saying. You're exactly correct. And so
that's why I said I couldn't figure out a way to type that out without it coming off bad. Hopefully, like, everybody got what I was saying when I said it. It seems like you did, so I'm glad about that.
And this is where over in my other platform, a little more raw, let me put it like that, because it's time for us as people of color. It's not that we are very we've been taught to be very sensitive towards their emotions and their feelings and their this and whatever, and not our own. And now it is time for us to not be as caring to them to the extent of sacrificing us. And what I mean, Candy, is we should no longer be apologetic, in a sense, in how we discuss human and race relations, because with all due respect to them, nobody did that for us.
Right.
And that kind of, truthfully, that's not part of the problem, but that's a factor into why these things have continued to happen the way that they have. I'm in here talking about the fact that 7 Democrats abandoned ship with Hakim Jeffries and Chuck Schumer and Nancy Pelosi and all those old heads that are representing your Democratic Party. Why did they abandon ship? And why are the Democratic supporters and the other Democrats holding these 2 people accountable for leadership? I know the answer, with all due respect to y'all, and y'all are getting it too. And not you, I'm saying the Democratic Party, supporters of the Democratic Party. I blame the Democrats for what we're seeing now, because they have been allowed to get away with so much. And what I mean by that, you all, is so little. They have given Democratic supporters so little, and yet Democratic supporters have given their vote and their loyalty and their allegiance every 4 years and every 2 years. And it comes a time where, with all due respect to the Democratic supporters, that's just not fair to you all. It's just not. And look what we have now. It's not all because of the Democrats, but when are they going to actually show others that we're not like the Republicans? This is how we're not like the Republicans. Instead of just saying, you really shouldn't do that, Republicans. If y'all hang in there with us Democratic supporters, we're going to do better. And they rarely do better. And look what we have now. Maybe that's just me, but this is how, I'm looking at the politics. I've been doing, in politics since mid-90s. So it's not like a shock to me, but it's still sad to my spirit, because here we are where we're better than seeing this man literally being executed. For what? Yeah. Because he had empathy, because he actually was trying to help another woman who had been terrorized by an agency that taxpayers support with their dollars.
Do you think that the Democrats have been too soft? And
yes.
It's a two-part question. First is, do you think the Democrats have been too soft? Second part is that why people like Jasmine Crockett stand out so much and get so much heat, because she is not?
Yes, and yes. The Democrats have been extremely soft. I did some content recently on Cory Booker that he was seen shaking hands with Netanyahu, and he had received a couple of $100 million, if I'm not mistaken, from their lobbyist group, their lobby group. When you look at your Nancy Pelosi's and your Chuck Schumer's and Hakim Jeffries, when you look at how much money they had before and how much money they have now, they are also receiving corporate funding. So when they sell out, the average Democrat doesn't know that they're selling out because they're doing it behind closed doors. And again, if they were standing 10 toes down, 10 toes down, Candy, everything that happens behind closed doors would be reported, just like the Republicans do. When something didn't go right, especially with Obama when he was in office, whenever something didn't go right, Mitch McConnell gonna tell it was wrong, it was lies, but he gonna come out and tell us how bad the Democrats and Obama was. So much so that if you didn't follow politics, you would believe what Mitch McConnell is saying. Some of us who knew in the backdrop heard the man say, I'm going to make sure that he's a one-term president, or I'm going to make sure that he doesn't get anything passed, right? So some of us who knew that history knew what he was doing. But the average Joe, Candy, who's just trying to survive, make sure the lights are on, make sure you got some food and in your refrigerator or whatever the case may be. They're not thinking that about these dynamics that's going on behind closed doors. They're thinking that the Democrats are not like the Republicans and they got my back. Why? Because Obama had my back. Why? Because Clinton had my back. Like, this is kind of where the performative politics kind of go hand in hand with us. And as people of color, it's time for us to stop. And I say that to us in love. Jasmine Crockett is awesome. Cory Bush and all those women back in the day, wonderful. And you saw what they did to them. And when I say they, I mean the Democratic Party. The Democratic Party shut them down.
Well, see, I knew we had a problem in the Democratic Party when they put on those dashikis and decided to take a knee. Watching Nancy Pelosi call herself being in solidarity with Black people by putting on, it was a kente cloth. She put on a kente cloth, and Auntie Maxine got herself down there on that one knee too, and I could have whooped her for letting them white folks do that. I was like, you got to be kidding me right now. And it was at that point I felt like I knew we as a party, the Democratic Party, was doomed, because if that wasn't the most performative crock of crap I ever saw, And I was just like, wow, like I didn't really know what to say after that. But I was disappointed at Miss Maxine Waters for even participating. You should have advised highly against that.
And that's one that comes to mind as well. It sickened my stomach. It
Hmm.
it really showed me what I had been seeing since 2000 with the Democratic Party. Honestly, since that whole Bush Gore fiasco, like I was telling them earlier.
Disconnect.
Yeah,
Like when Hillary talked about having hot sauce in her bag, she really she thought she was being cool with the code. They don't know how to connect to the everyday person. That's what I'm trying
no.
to say when I say these things. Like y'all think these performative actions and are going to bring us closer, or like when what's his name? I'm drawing a blank. The
Give me the scenario.
He said you ain't black if you don't vote for me. It's the little
Oh,
things that they do like that Biden. Dang, I don't know why I drew a blank on Biden. It's late. I'm tired. It's one of those things. But like all of these little steps, missteps that they've been making along the way shows me you don't even know the people that are voting for you. There's a like this is rich people versus rich people, and then it's us, the voters.
period. And I often give a quote by Lyndon B. Johnson, who was the Republican president during the whole Moynihan report and all that good stuff, right? But he basically says that if you can convince the poorest white person that he is richer than the richest black person, then he will give you the last pennies out of his pocket. Right. And this is what's going on now. It is really about the haves and the have nots. It's disguised through religion, it's disguised through politics, it's disguised through race, it's disguised through sexism, classism, all the isms so that it can keep us separate and divided because they know that ones fear us, they fear one us, they fear one collective understanding that we truly have more power. And that's why when I see these white women, even though things are happening the way that they are, and it's unfortunate, I do have to say there's a glimmer of a little piece of the hope that the X factor, which are these white women, they're going to have to really get up, rally their people together and actually go against their white men. And black people sit this one out. We have been in the forefront for I don't know how long. And a bullet that does not have a name, and we didn't create this. So it shouldn't be up to us to continue to fix white people's mess. And I'm not being racist, I'm being honest. Unless anybody can tell me one black system that is implemented in America that is controlling American culture. If you know one that I don't, I'll be quiet and I'll listen. I'll be like, okay, I, right, white
Do you
men. Mhm.
do you think because from what I could tell, just peeking around a little bit, it looks like black people have so far stayed on code. I don't see a lot of us at these new rallies and these protests and whatnot. Ever since we made a collective decision to sit this out, I have seen, I mean, I've seen some, but it's a few black specks in a sea of everybody else. I don't see a lot of black people out here risking themselves for this anymore. I don't.
Now, Candy, I'm gonna be real with you. I don't see a lot either, but I've learned just because I don't see them doesn't mean they ain't out there. So if anybody can
Mm,
hear my voice or whatever the case may be, this is not our battle. And I think for me, when I see Renee Good, right, or even an
mhm.
Alex um, Parodi, is I I empathize. My heart goes out to their families. But truthfully,
Mhm.
that's as far as it goes. Because then I have to go back to the fact that I'm in my black skin. And at any given at any given moment, anything can happen that's out of my control because of the color of my skin. They don't
Right.
have to be concerned like that. I mean, I don't get it twisted, y'all. I don't lose sleep because I know the creator got my back. Don't get that, twisted. But I'm saying the reality is different for us than it is for them. And they're now recognizing that our reality is now their reality. And it's a hard pill to swallow for them. Cognitive dissonance is going to kick in. What do you think about that? How do you feel when they realize even more so that they are no longer protected under white privilege?
Here's my thoughts on it, and this might be a little bit controversial, but I feel like this is necessary in order for a change to come about. Unfortunately, as long as it was black bodies, as long as it was brown bodies, the world could turn a blind eye to it and always find a way to attribute it back to the fault of the person, no matter whether they were in the wrong or not. It's always going to be, you should have complied. It's always going to be, well, what happened before? It's always going to be some version of blaming the victim, as long as, America can see us as other or demonize us. But now when you have to look at your own daughters, your own sons, the people that you think are truly the Americans going through this, I think it brings a different level of concern. It's kind of like with the Amber Alert, right? You had missing girls and boys happening until the white girl Amber went missing. Now we got an Amber Alert system. So I feel like in order for these sort of necessary changes to come about, it can't be black blood in the game. It's got to be the others. And I know that sounds harsh, but I feel like history has shown me that. So until I can see something different, you get enough of them out there risking themselves being the targets. I feel like it's going to cause and I could be wrong, I could be completely wrong about this, but I feel like that is usually the catalyst that brings about the change to stop these things from happening or put in some sort of preventative measure.
You're not wrong at all. And, I'm going to sound really controversial on what I'm about to say, and that's okay too. I'm just being honest, what I'm about to say. The thing about it is, for people of color, that melanin is our superpower, and it literally gives us the empathy. It gives us grace and mercy. It gives us love. It gives us all like a aha moment kind of deal, if you will. And my theory has always been, and it probably will continue to be, the more research I do, that because of the pale-faced Anglo-Saxon prototype, they have more Neanderthal genetic makeup in their makeup, that they literally are not equipped to have that type of empathy and love and grace and mercy and that type of Afrocentric those traits that if we're melanin for the most part, we do have. They don't. And they only learn anything or want to learn anything. They only want to learn it when it affects them and what they have, because in their mind, the way that the pale face is, it's more of an individual type of mindset. It's not a collective culture. And white culture is like that. With Europe, that's who they are. They never got along over there. So I don't know what we were thinking that they would get along over here with us. Bless our hearts, because again, we're melanin, so we're coming in love. We come to collaborate. No, they don't do that. And they have to find out the hard way. They have to find out that, you know what, you on your own, and what you gonna do now? And now you realize how important we really were, and we have been since the beginning of time to you. But now that we're no longer here, you on your own. Let's see what you're gonna do. Let's go eat our snacks, stay away from all of that, eat our snacks and watch the live entertainment. And again, that may sound kind of harsh that I'm saying that, but the reality of it is they have been effing around for over 300+ years. Now it is time for them to find out. The chickens are coming home to roost. Let's let them roost. I don't know what you think.
And don't get me wrong, y'all. I am not, just because like I said, I'm pro black leaning doesn't mean I'm anti white people. That is a huge misconception that that I think most of America outside of the black community doesn't really grasp. What I can look at this man's death, like somebody sent me the video. I know it's been posted throughout social media. I usually avoid them. And the person who sent it to me does not know that. Like, I don't watch death videos. Stuff like that impacts me a lot because I am an empathetic person, right? And so when I saw where it was leading up to, because at the time I didn't know that it was that video. When I saw what it was leading up to, I got out of it and didn't finish watching it. He kind of had to summarize it for me, but basically, I don't want to see anybody get harmed and shot down like a dog in the street. That's not what we're saying here. Like, this is an okay thing to happen. But what we're saying is, if anybody is going to go out there and risk their lives, it should be the people who didn't put, it should not be us. We put enough blood, sweat, tears, and skin in the game. It's time for somebody else to do it. And I don't want to see these people getting hurt. But if hurt is what brings about the change, if that's what it's going to take for this to happen, then I would rather it not be us that it happens to, because there will be no change. They're not going to see it any different. That's my whole point. I hope that makes sense.
No, it makes a lot of sense. Let me correct that.
I thought
It makes sense to those of us who are willing to receive that in our truth, right? In our love.
mhm.
And I'm saying that to whomever is not, receptive, because again, what you're saying is what a lot of people of color have been saying to our friends on the other aisle for decades, for centuries. But they were like, oh, okay, but it's probably not like you saying, or it's an isolated event, or, what did you do? Or what did they do? Or maybe he didn't, all these kind of what ifs. Now, when you see two people that look like them, that literally were just doing their everyday, just la 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 in their little white world, and they're no longer there for their loved ones anymore. That's an eye opener for a lot of these white
Right.
people. They're scared. You talk about white fear, they're fearing, they have white, and I'm not chuckling. I didn't mean it like that for whomever's listening. It's a sadness of the chuckle that they have to feel the way that a lot of people of color have been feeling since really the kidnapping and importation of us over here, right? And then some. So it's not that I'm laughing at the incident itself. It's the irony that they even want us now to feel empathetic towards them. Like they are really wanting us to get in the fight with them. And some of them I have noticed, they're actually having attitudes because people of color are not. We're choosing not to be out there in the trenches with them. And for me, I'm thinking the caucasity. When we needed you, where were
It's
you?
not just the Caucasians though, because even the Latinos, like and I say that understanding that
Mhm.
Latino is not a race, but y'all understand what I'm saying when I say this,
Mhm.
right? The
Mhm.
all of the people who fall under that umbrella, like I've seen a lot of videos coming up where we were getting chastised for not joining in, and I don't know what to say. Like I said it on another stream. Somebody asked me about being pro black, and I said I hung my cape up. I am no longer a social justice warrior. I'm not doing it. Get somebody else to do it. I did my part. I did it down to having been at protests. I did it down to voting, and then I see what it got us, and I'm like, nah, I'm good. Let somebody else be your human shield, your meat shield. I'm not doing that anymore. So, I mean, I feel for everybody who's out there and now y'all are catching up. Y'all are late to the fight. We've been here.
That's it. It's their turn. We're talking decades, Candy, and it's not a slight. It's saying you say that you're for all of this. Why not show it now? instead of just wanting us to show it all the time? Why don't you show improvement? What's wrong with that? If you say you are who you say you are, if you're my ally, then you can't pick and choose when you want to be my ally. Just like I can't pick and choose when to put color, my pigment in my system, or, it's just there when I wake up.
Yeah.
What makes you any different? So, yeah, no. And this is what I will say. I am pro-Black. I don't have a problem now because it took me a minute being in corporate America to be okay with saying that I'm pro-Black, because they wanted me to feel guilty because I love the skin that I'm in. And now over the years, I've learned, for them, for me, for anybody else, I can honestly say that I'm pro-Black and I'm anti-white establishment. Okay. And because that's kind of what it is. We don't like white supremacy. We don't like the white establishment because the white establishment was designed to keep us oppressed. There you go. And even on my live, I think it might have been 2 or 3 days ago, this guy, white guy, he felt some kind of way because I said that some white people have a propensity to do evil things. Now he heard in his feelings that I said all white people are evil. Said I didn't say that because my niece is biracial. So I'm saying that she's evil. My uncle and aunt are white. They were not evil. They're not evil. So no, I didn't. And I had to explain it to him and tell him to get out of his damn feelings. And like I said, if y'all come over TikTok, I'm a little more raw over there than I am over here. But, I'm saying that to say it is time for us to allow them to finally step up and do what they claimed they were, they claimed this country has been since the beginning of time. They kept telling us the life, liberty, and the pursuit of happiness and all that good stuff. They're telling us that we have the right to bear arms. We have freedom of speech and we have the right to assemble in the whole nine. Well, unfortunately for them now, they're realizing that these amendments, these rights were for select few and not all. And now they're realizing that they are not in that bunch. So what should we do but sit back and watch them do whatever they're going to do? Because, Kendi, when we think about it, do we really have any control to do anything different with these laws?
No, I mean we did what we could on voting things in, but again, that's where the allyship fell. They did all of that kumbaya camaraderie talking, and when they got in the voting booth, they did what they wanted to do. And so what are we supposed to do at this point? Like, you're getting what you voted for. I'm sitting at home because I didn't vote for this. Like, I don't know what more you want from us. What I feel like, Reese, what more do you want from me? That's what I
Exactly.
feel like.
That's what it is. And you know what's crazy is, again, I got 2 more years and then I'm heading to either Africa or a Caribbean island. I'm not really sure, but I'm trying to get this third party, minorities and others, determined for an equal and fair society. Mods, I am so into grassroots. AOC came out of nowhere. And she's an example. There are others too, but they got tired of the traditional Democratic Party and they did something about it. And this is where I encourage people of color. We have over $3 trillion to our disposal. We have the intelligence of, oh my gosh, like there's so much knowledge that we have, so much talent that we have, the innovation, the creativity. I mean, we are the shit. Not even being funny, we really, really are. Why not utilize all of that for ourselves? Kind of like that FUBU concert for us, concept for us by us. Why not start grassroots and we groom some candidates like a Jasmine Crockett or a
Can I
Corey
be
Bennett?
honest with you on that?
Sure.
Um, we will. It's going to be very hard, and I say, oh God, we got too many coons. Like, there's no way around that. There's too many people who love things the way that they are and would even go so far as to be destructive enough to stop it. Like, just think about some of the people that you can just take a gander and some of the talking points and how they look at Black people. All skin folk ain't kinfolk. So even for us to have camaraderie to come together to create and do something like that, you always gonna have the, what was his name? Bill Price was the one who went and turned in Fred Hampton. He was the mole within the organization. We always gonna have somebody like that because somebody is not ready to let go of massa. And so that's why it's so difficult for us to come together. But here's what I will say. I feel like the establishment got spooked one time and one time only in my history that I can remember, and that was during the vid when the people said no. When the vid happened and people refused to go to work, we were saying we're gonna work from home, but we not working. When they started getting alternative methods and these jobs had to crack and they had to bend the knee to what the employees were, the employees stood up for the first time. The people stood up for the first time I was around to witness, and I saw them force a change, and it scared the elites. It scared the companies because for the first time, people acted out of their own power, and they got to see what we can do when we collectively come together. And this wasn't even just a Black or white thing. This was everybody thing. You know, people were like, no, we're not putting our health in jeopardy. And so all of these companies now were hiring remote this, remote that, a hybrid this and hybrid that. That's the first time in history we got these people to kind of move the way we wanted them to move. So much so that they were giving out bonuses for certain positions to come to work because people stopped. They refused. You had fast food raising up their minimum wage in ways I hadn't seen in a long time because they couldn't get anybody in there. That was the first time I saw people put their foot down and exercise their power, and it scared them. But then once the vid was over and people started going back to work and people got comfortable, I feel like these companies came to get their get back. They started phasing out a lot of the remote jobs. They started dropping people left and right. Now we got the technological boom where they're laying off from company after company after company across. It's a lot. So I feel like they know, they're afraid of it. And once we get to a point where we're complacent again, we get punished.
And that's what exactly. And I'm gonna talk about our people. I'm gonna talk about our people. And this, and I agree with you, Candy. The whole thing about unity, and that's what I'm not preaching about, but talk about a lot on my other lives. The one thing that people of color we have to grasp in our spirit that we are so much better together, something we have not had over here in America. And it's been systemically conditioned that we don't get along. When in reality, spiritual reality, Candy, is just the opposite. And I agree that we can be our worst enemy because that's what I hate
Mm-hmm.
saying. And I agree with you wholeheartedly. And I have to say, because of the pandemic, my spirit, believe it or not, during that time, it was heavy because a lot of people were, being unalived, and they didn't know that literally they were walking into the what do you call it? What the chamber room, right? They didn't realize that some of us of color actually had some awakenings, some spiritual awakenings that the powers that were did not anticipate. Some of us of color were actually becoming entrepreneurs and understanding what our own talents were that we had inside that was kept from us because we were just surviving. And unfortunately,
That was
some
truly a shift.
mhm,
Yeah.
mhm. And unfortunately for us, when we when they let up that rule, if you will, we went back to business as usual, which is we just struggling for crumbs, not understanding we could have put our crumbs together and we could have had several bakeries that we didn't need their crumbs no more. And yet we are programmed after 400 plus years that their way is the best way. And I'm saying this, and I'm not, let me just say this. I do not believe that that is the end. Don't get it twisted. The reality, I'm an optimist, but I'm also a realist. The reality of it is the way that our behaviors, are becoming, you just don't know. It's a hit or miss. I look at that as actually a positive because with everything that we've gone through, other cultures would not have survived. They just wouldn't have. But some of us were able to thrive in the middle of that. So that gives a foundation for me that we still have that strength. We just have to tap into it. And even with the Democratic Party, it's, with all due respect, they have harmed us more than helped us. And this is all I've been saying to people of color. When is enough for y'all? Because I'm unaffiliated. I don't have a problem with telling you and anybody else and everybody else. I have canvassed for Black Republicans that because they were in that district, that whole gerrymandering thing, a lot of Democratic Black people didn't even know that they were Black Republicans that were running for sheriff, for example, in Mecklenburg County. Like, that's a major county in North Carolina. And the Democrats, Black people, they're just saying to the people that's coming up during election time, just do straight ticket. No, you don't want to miseducate our people like that. So I took the time on a few of those to say, well, do you know this brother's an Alpha Phi Alpha and da-da-da-da, he has a bachelor's in criminal justice. They were like, what, really? And this is what he looks like. This is his name. And I'm thinking, looking at the Black people like, what the? But I got it because they've been conditioned on that plantation. Straight ticket. That was a harm.
And as long as we, as long as it's thought that the entitlement of voting is there for Democrats, they will never have to do better by our people. You'll never have to work for it if it's guaranteed. Like, I know nepotism is like not really how this fits, but that's the only word that I can think of that comes to mind here. It's like you are grandfathered into the Black votes, and it's no need for you to do better by the people to continue to earn the right to get those votes. You just think that hot sauce in your bag swag is going to get you there.
And let me add a little sprinkle, because even though he's a pissy puffy and I can't stand what he did for our culture, he said, because he was having an issue, we found out behind closed doors with that Ciroc at the time, they was messing with his money, but he said, pissy puffy said, that we need to sit with every election that was, and we need to go to them and ask them, what are they going to bring to us in the community? People laughed at him and they blew him off because it's pissy puffy.
They did the same thing to Cube.
There you go.
Ice Cube did the same thing. He sat down with Donald Trump and tried to like negotiate terms, and they called him a sellout and a coon for that. But which one of the Democrats is willing to sit down with him and have that talk? They didn't need to. They felt like they didn't need to.
There you go. Roland Martin. I remember, because I don't really follow him like that anymore because he's on the, but anyway, I remember it was hot at that time and they brought him on, and those people, those Black scholars, if you will, they chastised that man so bad. And I thought, what the hell? At least somebody that's looking like us is going there to try to talk on our behalf. If anything, we should be applauding that, as opposed to, he doesn't know this and he doesn't know that and he doesn't know this. And he's trying to use the influence that he has for us. Why should we shun that? So yeah,
what? The other time that was tried was when Kennedy went to that barbershop and sat down and had a conversation. And instead of the men having a conversation with things that would fix the overall Black community, they spoke on issues that specifically would impact them, which was child support and a bunch of other like things that I felt like, of all the things you could have a conversation with a senator, somebody who might be the next president about, you chose this. This was your highest priority. So that's, you know what, I'm about to go on the soapbox. Let me not do that. I'm
please, but see, here's the thing though. It ties into the prompt. It ties into it. This is a multi-systemic hiccup. It's just not one area. And this is how they got it. This is how they got us. We just don't have, you're not even talking about just politics. That goes into medical. That goes into our kids too, because listen, one of the things that he was on point was that Red 40 and all that other stuff. A few years ago, he actually got me into, reading the labels and things of that nature. I'm not going to front that thanks to him, I became even more aware. Like certain things, of course, you're aware, but the Red 40 and how much, how many products it was in and how it was affecting our kids and how that connected with us being, our kids being on the spectrum. I mean, listen, some of the stuff that he, brought to the attention was not necessarily a bad thing. And that's the thing about even going into 2026 and forward. And you can get some pushback on this. It's not going to be the Black men that gets us out of this. As always, it's going to be us. We're going to be the ones to get us out of this. And once we get that, we're not giving it back. It's just because there's no other option we have at this time, Candy. With all due respect, I love people and I love men, I love women, I love us. However, when we think about politics, Black women were rarely at the table for all the negotiations, any of them. And if you can think of one, I'll wait. I'll get myself on mute and you can tell me, educate me. But so far, I've not found where Black women were at the table negotiating.
Supposedly, and I've not seen any clips or known this to be true. I have not researched it myself. But supposedly, Kennedy also met with a group of women and had a debate with them, Black women. I want to say it wasn't at a barbershop. I want to say they had it set up like sort of a town hall thing. I heard about it. I have not actually seen it myself to confirm that. So it's something worth looking into. I would like to do a comparison though to see the difference in the questions that were asked or the issues that were presented between what the Black woman brought up to him versus what the men brought up to him. I would actually like to see that. Not to be on some gender war thing, but just to kind of compare the focus of the groups. Because I am a firm believer that majority, okay, it's a controversial thought, but it is something that I did adapt kind of from Sinji, and so to credit to be to her. But I do believe that more Black women are community focused when they say pro-Black versus the men being community focused. I feel like the men are more focused on men's issues, which is why I say some men, when they say they are pro-Black, they're really pro-Black men. I don't think child support was the biggest issue y'all should have been talking to him about in that moment. And why do I say that? Is because that was an issue that only would help men in that moment. Yes, there are some women who have to pay child support as well, but this was more so a lack of discipline and getting along with your partner, which is house and family versus something that I feel like the whole community could have benefited from. I hope that makes sense what I'm saying. Like I just feel like, brother, there was other issues that were more pressing to all of the community and not just the small minority of y'all that actually have to pay child support.
Listen, when the Woman King came out, and I'm still going to do a commentary on that. I just haven't uploaded it. When I saw that on so many levels, I'm like, yeah, this is how we have to do this thing. For us women, we should be running stuff. We because we have, let's see how, we've learned to be competitive. We have that in us. And innately, we're nurturers. Innately, we collaborate. And innately, we're more diplomatic. And we really are about that for our offspring, our legacy. And I don't think it's controversial. I don't think it's any type of gender war or anything of that nature. I don't, because it's not about warring. We are able to, look, they protect, and that's what they're supposed to do. They're supposed to provide. That's what they're supposed to do. The rest of the stuff is pretty much up to us. And I know that sounds like I'm being warish, if you will, and I'll take that. We're the brain, they're the brawn. It is what it is. Because they fell into that pale-faced, Neanderthalic, barbaric type of mindset, that patriarchal type of mindset, because they began to doubt who they were and question their manhood. I mean, Black men. Through the bucking and all the everything that has taken place, spiritual, psychological, emotional, we were broken down too. Now, don't get it twisted. I'm talking about the Black man right now. I'm talking about the Black man. And he also had to watch us being great. And I remember saying this some years ago on a Manosphere channel, and I still feel the same way. I can't imagine how, emasculated or demasculated that would make me feel if I had, two balls in it. I would feel some kind of way. Now, I'm not excusing them acting the way they are, by no means. And I told him that too. When we know better, we do better. You're not under white man's law anymore. You choose to stay there. And if you choose to stay there, then what you're choosing is for us to begin to now do what y'all have been doing to us, which is go out and vet and go out and expand. And I still stand firm on that today. It doesn't take away from the fact that I embrace Black love, because in order for us to go forward, we need that Black love, like Florida and James Evans from Good Times, in order for us to procreate the right way, the righteous way. So I'm not taking anything away. I'm not man bashing or anything like that, by no means. What I am saying, though, is in order for us to get to the next level, the woman king in all of us has to come out. And when it does, either they're going to come along with us or stay their ass back there with Whitey, because we're not taking that into 2026 and beyond. We're just not doing it, and we shouldn't have to. So if you're not making sense, then I'm not making sense either. We'll be making sense together or not making sense together.
That's why I feel like in order for it to do what you're saying about coming together, we're going to have to be willing to leave a lot of people behind. Let them go. Like, that's the only way to move forward, I believe, because you can't drag people kicking and screaming. There's going to be a lot of them that don't want to come, and then you're going to have the ones who are just contrarian to be contrarian and disruptive to be disruptive. Like, I don't know what to say about that.
And El Boogie says, are Black people ready to accept the fact that there'll never be any unity with the collective of whites? Exactly. I know, to be real with you, El Boogie, more than I thought, and I'm excited about that. Now, I repeat, look, my ex was white. I am not being whatever. I'm just being honest. I'm just being real with it. And the reality of it is, no, everybody can't go. Just like everybody can't come to the cookout. That's real talk. And we have to be okay with them deciding what their fate is. And by them deciding to remain silent with situations like this, if they're not going to stand up for their own, what should make us believe that they're going to all of a sudden stand up for us?
Mm-hmm.
I'm just asking for a friend. And these are the questions we need to be asking our quote white allies. I don't know. What do y'all think? What do you think?
I feel like the word ally has been overused when it comes to ooh, child. If we had any allies, they would have showed up at the voting booth when they had the opportunity to do so. These people did not ally with us. These people voted for their own interests and against their own interests to keep the patriarchy, to keep the people in power in power. They, especially the women. The women were willing to give up rights, to allow their rights to be taken away from them, so that they could keep someone like Trump in a position of power, to get a person like Trump in a position of power. I can't wrap my brain around that. I guess because we've never had that blanketed level of, I guess, I don't even know what to say. Like, I'm stumped. It makes my head hurt to think about you voting against your own interests just so you can keep your quote unquote men in power. All right.
You answered it though. That is exactly the answer. I kid you not. They really they've been conditioned to believe that voting with their men is the best for them. And that's exactly what happened. So yeah, don't wrap your head around anything like that because it's just that simple. And when they saw Renee Good, when they saw what happened to her, now they are like, what's going on? I don't understand. This is America. What are they doing? No, they have never heard of my First Amendment right. This is how they sounded. And I'm not being funny. I'm saying this is the response. Like they don't know what happened. They woke up and they realized they like us.
I mean, the
Unprotected.
part of like what I think is so funny to me is like they made a lot of jokes, which I didn't really think it was funny about us getting ready to go into the Handmaid's Tale. The irony to me of that is that all of these women who are voting assume they are going to be in the position of a Serena Joy and not of the other women who were just breeders. Like y'all really like I don't know that has to be a special level of crazy to assume that you're going to be the one with all the benefits at the end of all of this. Like you, like on Django when you had Samuel Jackson. Like what was his position? He was above the rest of the Negroes because he was telling on them. And I think some of these women feel like they're going to be in that position, like above the rest of the women. I'm not like the cool girl, the other girl, okay, they're going to show you just, you'll see.
And they showing them now. They showing them now. And again, and it's, listen, again, anyone that's listening, it's not like I get delight on what I'm saying. It's not like that because it's sad because when we know better, we can do better. And, like I'll tell anyone, I'm African by blood and American by birth. So, by default, what happens in this country affects and effects me too. So again, it's one of those, but we got to call it kind of what it is. And to our white counterparts, it's literally welcome to our world. This is the tale of two countries, countries, and now you're in our world, and it's not pleasing. Look, we wish you well. In the meantime, between time, I'm saying as a melanated community, we can be regalvanizing, re-strategizing, and we can be doing more local and county and state stuff that really determines what our day-to-day lives really are about. Because that includes education and that includes, police, all kinds of things. Like how many did they fix the potholes, you know what I'm saying, in our city? And because I got that happened to me. I wish they had, got into it. Property taxes, those are the things that affect us day to day. Black melanated people, we can be doing that as well. And Black women in particular. As a matter of fact, as you were talking earlier, I remember about maybe 3+ years ago, there were a group of women that were actually pooling their money together for like a capital or a venture capital group that would invest in other minority women, minority businesses for women, right? And something happened that I want to say the government somehow found out and now they can no longer do it. Or they couldn't do it, they told them to stop or something like that. Now, they weren't going against the grain. They were doing everything within the policies, within the practices that their white counterparts have been doing for centuries. And even their Black colleagues have been doing. That's how they were able to help each other's businesses to prosper. Where were the Black men and the Black business owners like a Robert Smith or a Bob Johnson or that Nigerian brother that's a billionaire? Where were they when we needed them? Right. Right.
Good question.
So it's like, with all due respect to even them, we have it within ourselves as melanated women. We just need to learn to retrust each other And it begins with trusting ourselves. It begins with literally increasing our spiritual discernment, increasing our spirituality, what we are about, controlling our emotions, not allowing those emotions to control us, right? Understanding we all are uniquely and wonderfully made. We have personalities that are like that as well, right? Being able to respond and react to each other in love, and anything other than that we don't do, and mastering our mindset, having that mindfulness that when we as women speak with each other, melanated women in particular, it's in love and it's to build and it's to collaborate. When we're able to kind of reconnect to that within ourselves and then as a collective, whether they do whatever or not, F them, because they about to find out that they were basically accessories to us, period, point blank. And it may sound like I'm gender war, I don't care. It's the fact. My prototype is what made the world. So why should I not say what I'm saying right now? Come to me if I'm talking out there wild. Come to me, you know what I'm saying?
See, this the thing though. I feel like we can have conversations about relationships, community building, and family without it being quote unquote gender war. The warring part to me is when we start being like, black men aren't shit for this, black women aren't shit for that, and we're arguing back and forth on the panel. If we're just discussing different roles, different parts that the individual genders play, I don't see that as a war. I think that's conversation. That is, even if we have discourse over it, I think people have gotten so used to the talking points that they don't realize you can have a conversation about everyday normal things like marriage, relationship, kids, community, family, education without it being an actual war. So I wouldn't say that what you're saying right now is gender war specific. I'm saying it sounds like you have a call to task, and it sounds like you're saying that you feel like based off the evidence and previous history that women are going to have to be the ones to be, called to this task. That I don't know. I don't think it's the same as gender war. That's all I'm saying.
And I appreciate it because I don't war. I'm about love. I mean, I'm a true Taurian. You know what I'm saying? We'll love it. We don't fight. We will if you bring it to us. But for the most part, we love. We try to hug it out. You understand what I'm saying? Or walk away. And that's exactly it. And my thing is, why would have want to war with anyone, let alone the yin to my yang, right? Why would I? That makes no sense. When together we're unstoppable. That just logically, spiritually just makes no sense. And plus I'd be, halfway hating myself because I have masculine energy as well. So again, I love myself. I'm learning to love myself more and more. You understand what I'm saying? So no, it's not about war. It's truly about love. And, for even the men that may hear this, it is about getting together and understanding, again, we have more things in common than we do different. Anatomically, we're different. But when it comes to having emotion, we both have them, right? We have feelings. It's okay. We both have to learn how to communicate because we have a voice. So these are things we have in common. And when we're able to understand, we share that same language, there's nothing that can stop us. But for me, I'm saying to our women, we don't have to wait on that. We really don't. If they want to get themselves together while we're getting ourselves together and we come back together, great. If not, we're going to still keep it moving because we've waited on them for how many hundreds of years? Our children deserve, forget about us, our children deserve better. We didn't ask for this, nor did our kids. So we can literally doing what we're going to do, we can make this world better than how the world was positioned for us. And I'm just, again, one's fear us, they fear one us, they fear us being able to literally come together and know that, again, we have more things collectively. And
There's power in numbers. And it's simple. Black women don't need anybody or anything. We have everything. That's why they're always taking and coming to us for everything. And that's not me saying it. You can look at history, his story. So many times they've tried to even delete us from this whitewashed Bible. Even the women in the whitewashed Bible, they tried to delete the women or minimize the women, demonize the women. What makes us think that they're going to do anything different in the real world? And I'm saying that in love. And whoever man hears that, do something with it. Take this and go and work on yourself like we don't work on ourselves. I don't know. What you thinking? I kind of got on a tangent myself. I can't. This is my thing. So, you know what I'm saying? I love.
I like being a fly on the wall in a lot of spaces and places, and just to kind of hear, to take the temperature of the people and hear where we are. And, by my own not compass, by my own scale, I'm measuring if what I see, like, are we doing worse? Are we doing better? Like, where are we? I don't know. I feel like anybody who understands what you're saying is not going to be offended. It's one of those, if it don't apply, let it fly kind of situations. And for the men who are out there doing things, and I do know some, I've not seen them get mad at opinions shared like this, because they know, what I'm saying? Like, I don't know. Like, it's a lot. It's a lot going on right now. We have a lot of distractions that keep us entertained, and I am especially guilty of that as well. But I feel like, most of the women I know who are single, especially if they're single mothers, they bought homes. Like, I don't think they were waiting to begin with. I think some were, because you have the like welfare women and blah blah blah. You hear all of that, right? Women didn't want to have a man in the house for the government. That's the talking point that was going. Cool. But then I see a lot of educated women. Women went and got degrees. They got higher learning to get more income. And then they started to build their lives up. They weren't waiting around for something to happen. So they were buying homes. They were buying their cars. They're putting their kids in private school. They're putting their kids in therapy. So, like, I don't think the women are waiting anymore. A good majority of them are just moving on with life. And it's kind of up to the men around to either match that energy and join them or fall back.
And Kenny
I don't know.
let me tell you the irony of what you're saying. And I think I shared this with the other fellow a couple years ago. Still feel the same way, still applies to this day. Because the behaviors of our Black men, it seems like if we are to gauge the behaviors of virtual Black men with those in the real world, we would think that there's such a degeneracy, a deviance in behaviors, that who would want to even engage someone that looks like them in real life? The
Right.
way sometimes is projected in this cyberspace, in this virtual world, right? Fortunately for a lot of us, we do touch grass, we do hug a tree, no, but we
Right.
get sun and we actually interact with real people. And in some cases, Black men that are actually out there doing the work, the SOUL work, therefore the community work, that understands that just because I'm not in her does not mean that she does not need to be protected if some shit go down around my watch. Them kind of Black men, they're out there, right? So some of us can say we have experience to know that there are some Black men out there like that. The challenge of this, though, is when the voice of virtual becomes macro, and it kind of sounds out. Hmm.
This is so ironic because I had a very similar conversation with someone else recently on a panel where I was saying this exact same thing. Like, they're the loud minority that get online and do all of this talking, and they would make you think that men hate women. They would make you think that these people are like, when I look around outside in the real world, most of my family is married and partnered with somebody of their same race. Like, they're having kids, they're like, so to sit and make it seem like everybody's fighting, are all of these relationships perfect? Absolutely not. But it's nothing like what you see online. The online world, they're like, it's not real life, and to some extent it's not. We have to be careful though not to allow it to bleed out into the real world, which is why touching grass is so important, which is why stepping into reality is so important. Go look around your neighborhoods, go look at the grocery store, go look at the gas station, like, look around at who is with whom and what they're doing. And most of these people are partnered up because they are, they're living, they're surviving, they're, I don't know. I don't know. This is so crazy because it's almost like a deja vu thing.
I hope that's a good thing, though, right?
No, it's not a bad thing at all. It's just, it's funny. It's like, I'm glad to hear somebody else say what I was saying, because the person I was saying it to was like very much in denial that that's happening, and I think it's because of the lens that they're viewing it from. I can't, I won't attack somebody's lived experience. All I can say is that that's not mine, and that's what I kept stressing to her, is that it's not my reality. So I don't want you to think that I'm discounting what you're saying because I haven't experienced it. I'm not. What I'm saying is that maybe your point of view is jaded because of what you went through. And if you have the opportunity to step outside of what you're seeing, you might see, in the words of Jasmine, a whole new world. And
Okay.
I'm not making excuses. I'm not caping for Black men, Black women relationships. I'm just
Mhm.
saying I don't think that it's as, if it were as bad as the internet would make you think, women would be blowing men's tops back every chance they got. If I just had to keep it a buck.
And let me tell you too the irony, and I was going to say this too. I'm glad you said that. The way that the loudness is in virtual reality, virtual world, I should say, they make it easy for people like characters like the Priscilla person to literally just take the women. And I'm not saying that to be funny. And that girl, that young lady, what was her name? Beautiful young lady. I was going to say, I don't know how she was able to snag her, but yes, I do. And I'm getting to that. You know, the young lady, oh my God, something Taylor. Is it B. Taylor? Some kind of something. But anyway,
Yeah, that's her. B. Taylor, that's her.
beautiful young lady, right? And
Hmm.
Priscilla, the black men set that up because they have had that type of degenerate behavior online, that it made it easy for somebody like her I'm not going to say she's confused. I don't really know her like that, but seems to have some things she may need to address in the back burner. Allow this person, this character, to be able to manipulate that young lady just to say nana and boo boo to these black men who were probably
Hmm.
wanting that young lady, because she's a beautiful young lady, is a beautiful young lady. But
That's the
they,
ultimate flex of a lesbian. Think about that. That's what Princella's mission was. Princella and Daryl Long were the same person. One has a vagina, the other one.
that's it. That's exactly it.
They're
And
probably
no, no,
further
no. But
along.
no, that wasn't. And the thing about it is, she probably wouldn't have minded pegging. Let me stop. Let's go somewhere else. Cause see, I'm going to go there too. But no, I'm with you. I'm with you. But I'm saying that to say the loudness of that degeneracy, if you will, made a lot of women, intelligent, beautiful women, kind women that seem, but also seem a little broken as well, susceptible to people
Exactly.
and characters like Priscilla. And
And
to
B.
me,
Taylor herself,
yeah,
when she came out and she, did her interview with Yanni, not interview, but like the telling of her story, she did admit that she was in a broken place. I could see why. Like the space, she came from, I think, Lapeef or Fight Club. She was over there with Anton. You listen to these men talk crap on black women day in and day out. You don't think that's going to mess with your psyche to a little bit of an extent? And I'm not blaming him for that, but I'm saying what radios in your head can become your thoughts. It can, the propaganda you will feed in. That's why it works. That's why so many countries use propaganda. You don't think that they over there brainwashing them North Koreans with some BS propaganda? It's on purpose to program your mind. So yeah, I think she was in a broken place. She said it herself that she was. And maybe to some extent, it was a neener boo boo on her part too, waving her finger in those men's faces because of how they kind of mishandled and mistreated her as long as she was under their tutelage, patronage. I don't even know what you want to call it,
let's
but
say
I think
covering,
both of
because
them kind of,
she thought she was protected. Let's say covering. I think she thought that was that
yes,
little was covering her.
right. Right. And then you get the men coming up and they want to, hit her with the talking points and single mother this and you think you all that because of that. And so yeah, I think it left her in a place where she was trying to do something different. They said choose better. Maybe that was her idea of choosing better. And she just didn't know she dropped Satan to pick up Lucifer. And she found out in the end when it took her to hell. So I'm glad she's out of that relationship. I feel like, you just gotta be mindful. The discernment is the thing that I feel like a lot of people are missing. A lot of women are missing. We want so badly for love, affection, camaraderie, for human connection that we can become blinded. And I use the word we because I've been through something like that myself. Like not the B Taylor thing, but I'm just saying like don't let your discernment go ignored or go unused and then you walk into a situation where you end up hurt.
No, yeah, we've all been B, and that's why I could empathize with her, but damn self. We've all, yeah, we've all been B, and I'm just happy that she seems like she's on her way to healing as well because she's young. You know what I'm saying? And Priscilla, those types of characters can like turn a woman out and just me, like mess her up, right? Mess them up for the rest of
and
their lives. And it doesn't
and
seem
if
like
you've ever dealt with a narcissist, you know how intoxicating that can be and how dangerous that can be mentally. Like and I'm, oh, y'all overuse the word narcissism. No, she's textbook and there's a few other people around here who are as well.
they a lot. Yeah, I'm picking up on a lot of characters. They definitely have narcissistic behaviors, and that doesn't help someone like who, especially if you're already broken. Again, it seems like I don't know her. It just seemed like from the last, I don't know how long ago it's been, but she was on her way to healing and understanding how she got gullible and got caught up in it. That is coming from her mouth. I don't know where she is now, but I wish her well. You know what I'm saying? But I'm just saying
Mhm.
that black men, in this space, not only were they anti black women, they made it to where people like her could prey, if you will, upon the
Mhm.
black women that were already broken, and that's not
And that's
on.
same thing with Simp God. That's how they were able to come in and gain the cult following that they had. It's because you hear everywhere you turn, black woman is this, black woman is that, black woman is this, black woman is that. And that one person that hit you with the black woman is God. Like even if that sounds like BS to you, it was the BS women were willing to listen to because finally somebody had something nice to say. Like it pulled you in, right? And I think that was the same thing with Princella. You know, she's coming in telling you men are the problem. Oh, she's flipped her script now. She's completely done a 180 on that one. But in the beginning, men are incapable of love. You know, the bonobo tribe was lesbians and they were taking care of each other, and women are the true leaders. Man, she had a whole to do with how she came in the door. And I'm curious about her following now. Like, as her method, excuse me, as her message has changed, has her crowd changed, or did they just change with it? Because I don't think that I could have sat there and listened to you go from the black woman is God to, well, actually, let me correct myself, because Priscilla never specified race in the beginning. I will give her that. That's one thing that she stood on. Woman was God. Woman, woman, woman. And now it's you bitches don't know shit, and this is why men are winning. I'm curious to how they have adapted. Do you just turn a blind eye because that's your leader and you just follow her to the pits of hell no matter where she takes you? Or do you use some critical thinking in your own brain to say it's time to get off this ride?
Now you realize, this again, behavior we're talking about. What you just described are the Democratic Party towards the Republican Party, the Black people towards the Democratic Party. I mean, I can keep going with dynamics on what you've just
It's so
said.
funny.
Right. I'm over here like tickling, busting the gut inside, like, yeah, that's exactly right. And yet we do it in different facets of our lives and we don't even realize we're
Hmm.
doing it. You see what I'm saying?
Hmm.
I don't know. But
No, I mean, I don't disagree with you. As you say that, yeah, I see the correlations. I do.
Kitty,
Yeah.
what's your solution? I'm just throwing it out here because you seem to be about collaboration and everybody, not kumbaya, but again, it's about love. Let's just see if we could just hug it out. What do you see? Because you've been in these spaces a lot longer than I have. Do you, first of all, do you see that there is possibility that there can
Um,
be, yeah.
what's okay, so here's the thing. I believe in collecting more bees with honey than flies with shit.
Mhm.
So I'm definitely somebody who tries to collaborate and get along. And I feel like along the way, that is going to lead my tribe to me, right? Um, and so I'm cognizant of the people who are like-minded, men and women, who come through, and I'm paying attention to what they say. I'm paying attention to the conversations and consistency. What I am also noticing is to catch them on their own. So, like when the men are in men's spaces and I can hear their unfiltered thoughts, to pay attention to that as well, if that makes any sense. So I would love to say yes, we could work together. I would love to say that there is hope. I have hope. That's my problem. That's been my biggest problem. If you talk to anybody who knows me, like I'm an optimist to the core, and it leads me to being a bleeding heart in a lot of ways. And I've had to put that heart on the shelf in a lot of ways as well. Um, I don't know. I don't know. There are a lot of people who would say we are beyond that, and that it's stupid for us to even have this conversation because f those men. And then there are a lot of people who feel like don't give up hope, keep hope alive, fist in the air. I don't know. I feel like I sit in the middle between the both of those because I want to have hope, but I keep getting let down.
I have this saying, and I probably got it from somebody or somewhere. I'm not sure, but I've just been using it forever and a day. And it's something to the fact that for me, I rarely have expectations, so I'm rarely disappointed, and I'm pleasantly
Hmm.
surprised. And for me, if I don't have any expectations of anybody other than myself, then what you do, good, bad, and indifferent, that's on you. But if you do something that's going to be like, aha, it's like, wow, that's a pleasant surprise. Because that way I won't be disappointed with some that you come up with.
Yeah,
I'm an
that's a good
eternal
point.
optimist. Yeah, I'm an eternal optimist myself. It doesn't take away from the reality that is before me. I'm a behaviorist as well. all the schools of thought in psychology. Like I'm literally I have an eclectic approach because it's just not one or the other. And behavior, cognitive, all of that go together. And the reality of it is the way that the behaviors are, it doesn't look like we're gonna ever try. No. And can I be real? It's like the boys don't want to play right. It's like they don't want to play right. You know what I'm saying? And they want to keep pulling our ponytails. You know what I'm saying? Instead of just talking with us and say, I like you, check the box for yes or no. They just want to pull up and poke on our shoulder. No, we're not in elementary school anymore. We're not going to do that. You know what I mean? That's kind of where we are now. We've graduated
So
from that.
since you brought that up, I'm glad you brought that up. So I have a video that I keep putting off. I keep putting that video. I've rescheduled it a couple times, and I don't even remember the full name of the live. Hold on, let me go look at it real quick. Let me not make a liar out of myself. Hold on. The live is called "Pain Porn for Profit" or "Sinister Systemic Shaping," and it's about the rage bait content. And basically, the thought process behind the video, what I intend to do with it, is to ask the question, um, is all of this by design? Is it all on purpose? Granted, we are the ones putting the content out there as the content creators. When we do all of these skits, and the skits, like most of them, the skits that I have seen have been to make either the men look batshit crazy or to make the women look batshit crazy. And then people are arguing online as though these things are real and happening in real time. And then they start imposing real scenarios that they know of. And so, like, going back to the whole um, House of Hypocrites dude who had the 7 kids by 7 different women and it was their fault because they chose to get pregnant. He did the skit thing. Then you had the girl talking about, I'm not going to Olive Garden or Applebee's or Red Lobster, one of those chain restaurants. I'm too good for this when she was dating this other guy. So what I'm trying to say is it intentional that the algorithm loves that kind of stuff because it feeds the separation of our people and it makes us argue, it makes us fight, and it's feeding the red pill, it's feeding the manosphere, it's feeding the BWE, it's feeding all of these separation groups versus people coming together. Is this rage bait innocent, or do you think it's part of a systemic
Yes.
plot, like along the lines, it's not quite redlining, if
Yeah.
that makes sense. I'm trying to get the thoughts out.
No, no,
I've been
no,
pushing that
no, no,
string off
no.
because
You
it's
said it.
heavy.
Candy, listen, I don't know why you be second guessing what you're saying. You are very eloquent and you articulated that exceptionally well. And the answer is absolutely, positively yes. It is by design to keep us separated and divided because once again, it's about the frequency, it's about the vibration. I'm all about that, just researching and being honestly an embodiment of it. I can say to you what listen, your third eye is girl. Listen, I'm cheesing over here. Like you are so on point because we have to remember who designed these algorithms. We have to remember who's literally the brain behind even what we're on right now and what their agenda is and has always been, and is to keep us blinded, to keep us looking in through our 2 eyes and just our carnal eyes. And when we see just through our carnal, it's again the whole, not trying to be religious, but it's the fact of the scripture where they're talking about the fleshly entities, right? Like division and envy, jealousy, fear, hate, all of those not so good things, low vibration. melanated people.
All of that comes up in those skits. Everything you mentioned are the range of emotions that are meant to be invoked through those skits and through the content that's being put out.
Now, Candy, it's meant this is your confirmation that you need to go on and do this content, because I didn't know anything about this, but I'm just saying this has been my experience and what I've shared over the years, that it's on purpose, just like everything else has been by design, to keep us away from each other. Once we break the matrix, it's a wrap. Like, holistically, it's a wrap. We are all Neos in this matrix, that we don't know that we're all Neos in this matrix. And then when we go into something like this for escapism, some of us, right, myself included, that's how I got connected with a couple of these in these spaces during the pandemic. It allows us to kind of check out. Unfortunately, some of us didn't check back in. That's what the hiccup is. And then when we check back in, we all tainted with some foolery that we got through virtual space, because we didn't have virtual discernment to decide which is fact and fiction, right? That's how it got all murky for some of us. So again, you are so on point that it's like, literally, it's amazing. You are, keep going. And it's crazy because they're using our Black men as bait, and they don't realize it.
And the content creators, not just the men, but the women too. Like, that's where my struggle was, because I feel like the argument's going to be had that we're doing it to ourselves, and it's not. It's the same thing with racism. Racism doesn't exist. This is a self-fulfilling prophecy because Black people are the perpetual victims. And it's going to be the same thing with this. These people are signing up to do it. Nobody's making them do it. I can already hear both sides of this argument, which is why I have been dreading it, because I know it's going to be exhausting, but it's something I feel like we need to talk about.
And it's not going to be exhausting for the ears that are ready to receive that, Candy. And that's what I'm learning during my journey of literally increasing my content, and even with the other platform. Like, I didn't anticipate a couple of weeks ago going from like 200, 300 to like almost 700 followers. I didn't anticipate the lives that I did would actually get on an average 1-something-thousand views. Like, not even kidding. I did not think about
it. Here, or is that over on TikTok?
It's over on TikTok. And that's why I'm right out of nowhere. Again, but the universe is manifesting, because and this is what I'm learning. Like you said earlier, your tribe will find you and follow you. And it's meant for them. What you're saying, you're part of your purpose-driven life, is meant to literally lay this down the way it's been given to you. You have the beauty of how you will present yours and continue to. You start with your spirit, and your spirit is in truth and love. That's a beautiful thing. A lot of us, if we had that, I do it, but I'm saying as a group, if we did more of that, we wouldn't have as much conflict. So you start off right there, and you try your best not to assume anything. You come in with a kind of a clean slate. You try, right? And
I will.
And not only, no, you do it. I'm telling you what you already do. No, I'm telling you what you already do. Like, you do this. I've heard your lives. And then on top of that, you try your best not to take what they're saying personal, because you understand everybody has their own lived experience. It may not be like yours, and there can be two rights at the same time. And you're okay with that. You're open-minded like that. This is what I've gathered from you so far. And finally, in all different scenarios, you do the best you can in those scenarios where you stay true to Candy. And when you don't get it right, sometimes you be like, you know what, I didn't get that quite right, and this is what I meant. Or let me correct what I was trying to say. Those are the four. Those are the four agreements in a nutshell. This is what I work with my clients, and I do it. So don't get it twisted. I don't just talk it. I'm walking it, but I'm giving you an example of what you're already doing, that you probably don't even realize that you're already doing it.
You know what's funny that you said that? I didn't think about it that way, but I have read the four agreements, and I do a lot of like I read a lot. Not read. I haven't read in a while, but I do audiobooks now. I used to be an avid reader. I used to love reading, and I have to make time to find time. But when I am listening to audiobooks, some of the books that I listen to are a lot of the self-help, self-improvement, like the Brene Browns and things like that. I like a lot of the psychology books as well. So I don't know. I'm I'm just trying not to leave this world in a more effed up place than when I found it. That's all.
And with that type of servitude, then you know this, because my thing is spiritual psychology. That's what my whole life coaching thing is about, right? Because again, you got to have both. But having that type of mindset of servitude, it keeps you humble. And because you're not only humble, you understand you're of service. Everything that you need, it's literally right there. Your tribe is coming to you. We need you. We need this message. My message as well. Don't get it twisted, because it's very parallel, which is a beautiful thing, which is a beautiful thing, because it's, again, is founded in love. The foundation of it is in love. And it's from love of self. And what I mean by that is, you're a Black woman. Surely you want other Black women, like Issa Rae, we want everybody to win. We want Black women to
Absolutely.
win. We want Black men to win. And then we want people to win. Rest of them too, because we are the creator of everything. So we got the redheaded stepchild too. So they ours, we want them to win in their own way and maybe by themselves, but we still want them to win. We don't want nobody to necessarily go, have no harm to them if need be. You feel what I'm saying? So
Right.
continue your path. And yes, you're going to have some that are going to be resistant to that truth, because you're speaking it in love. You don't have an agenda. And when they continue to come to you and your content, that's what they're going to, that's what's going to resonate with them. And that organically is what you were just saying. You want to make this world a better place than we had it, we inherited. And I agree with you. That is your
Hmm.
that is your footprint. Continue to do and go in the path that you're going. And let me know when you're going to have that, because I definitely will be there, to support that, to support you, especially with something as important as that. Because you're right, you're going to have some pushback. But here's the thing, Candy, respectfully, if you didn't have any pushback, then maybe you should kind of question yourself and what your purpose is,
That's
and
a fair
whatnot.
point.
I'm just throwing it out there. Just throwing it out there. Pick it up. Do whatever you want to do with it. But you're
Right.
making right. You're making some type of footprint in order for you to get pushed back. And sometimes, you know what I'm saying, that's what we do. We want to redo history and make it the way it's supposed to be and be her story. That's what we have to do, because we can't let them keep doing it. And I'm not slighting it. I'm just historically speaking, just historically
Yeah.
speaking. So what you thinking? You
Well,
feel better about doing it now? I want you to.
I think I am. I have it. So I rescheduled. So it was supposed to be next week, but I switched it around for the 7th of February because I wanted to end this month talking about body positivity, since it's the first of the year and people do like the whole new year, new me, getting into shape and all that stuff. I felt like it would be more appropriate to have the body positivity stream before the end of January. Um, well, not body positivity, but how body positivity failed, excuse me. And then after that, the following week, the 7th, is when I think I'm going to go ahead and fully run it.
Um,
Okay, I feel
um,
better about it. I was just like, I was nervous, man. I'm like, I want to put this out here. This is on my mind. This is, and all of these, most of the streams that I have stem from conversations that I have had with people, either someone in my like everyday life or somebody online, or people that I talk to behind the scenes have sparked up, these streams. They're the inspiration for the conversation. So
and that's a beautiful thing. Again,
yeah.
that's you're in the spirit. You're inspired. You never know how and what the universe is trying to do and how it's trying to do it. You are just doing what you're supposed to do, which is hear it and do something with it. And Candy, that's what I mean about literally having that foundation spiritually to, even though XYZ is going on, know that you're there at that given moment in time for such a time as this to receive that information to say, you know what? That didn't quite, let me go ahead on and expand. And therefore you expand with others. So then now, not only does it make you better, in understanding and trying to get where they were coming from, it makes others better because now they have different perspectives to compare it to. Now, what they do with that, that's on them, but you didn't brought them something new. And that's really all we can do in our human, basically our spiritual beings having a human journey, a human experience. That's what really we're supposed to do. And you get it in the middle of different things that you can't, could be distracting you with just two eyes that you may not want to. Some people don't. You, that third eye, it sends you to do it. You're compelled. It's conviction. Again, not religious, I'm spiritual. It's conviction. That's a beautiful thing that keeps us in our moral compass the way it's supposed to be. Even when ain't nobody paying attention, you paying attention. And that's what we're supposed to do, right?
Yeah. Yep.
So I'm look, and this is how the universe works. I'm trying to tell y'all. I was coming on here talking about the Dems funding ICE again and this, that, and the third. And Candy, to be honest with you, I think it was more of us having this dialogue, which is beautiful to me. Which, don't get it twisted, which is beautiful to me. But I'm looking forward to the 7th.
Well, thank you. I hope you all will join me there. Again, I like to do open panels. I'm going to present my information. I'm going to try and gather a couple of skits as examples, and then I'll do an open panel to let people come up and either push back or give their thoughts, or maybe people aren't thinking about it like this. I don't know. Sometimes I feel like I heard before a comment like from someone talking about we get downloads, like downloads from the universe or downloads from the spiritual world. And I do feel like that is true. Like
I
this,
say it all
because
the time.
it's some, say that again.
I say it all the time. We do. Go on though.
I, because some of these ideas and stuff, they just be, they hit me, they just flood. And I'd be like, man, listen, I think we need to talk about this or whatever. So I'm going to do it. I've been pushing it all. It was like with the AI stream. I did the same thing with the AI stream. People were like, why are you not hosting this? And I'm like, 'cause I didn't think anybody was going to really want to hear it. Like, I don't know why I just assumed that. I don't know. So I don't know, but I'm going to do it. And I thank you for that. I appreciate the encouragement.
Listen, girl, I'm just gonna be raw with you. As I'm talking to you and encouraging you, I'm encouraging my daggone self. Right? There's this. I'm from the South. There's a song called "Encourage Yourself" by Donald Lawrence and the Tri-City Singers. Listen, I tell you, that was a mantra song of mine. It got me through some of the hard times. But when you said that, I was like, you know what? I'm thinking the universe and I'm thinking my ancestors. I'm like, you know what? I hear y'all, because just like I'm telling her, I'm doing it too. And I'm saying that to you. I usually keep it to myself and have my meditation, you know what I'm saying, when I get off, whatever. But you need to know too that just as I fed you, you fed me. And that's how things supposed to work. No, I'm grateful. Because you said something, I kind of smiled at myself because I think the same thing. What people don't want to hear anything I got to say. I'll just be blah, 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 blah. You know what I'm saying? And it's like when these days now, the universe answers and says, not so, not so. Every time it's like, not so. And then I start to smile like I'm smiling now because it's really the universe reminding me of different lived experiences, different tests, different all kinds of things that have gotten me, like Esther, for such a time as this, that's pressed me and pruned me for such a time as this. This is nothing new under the sun, nor should it be for me, considering everything that I've gone through. And same to you, just in general. And that's part of kind of who we are in our makeup. And that's what makes us authentic. And that's where I've found, especially in these areas, that's not there. The authenticity. Like, I don't get it right all the time, and damn, my bad, but this is what I'm gonna try to do and work on that.
Exactly.
This is where you are needed, and I'm finding out that I'm needed as well in that capacity. And that's okay too, because people need to know, you know, that we all are in this thing struggling, that we all get downloads and we don't know what the hell to do with them. We don't know what it means or whatever the case may be. We know that it's supposed to be better than this. We don't know how we're supposed to get in the, fit in the big picture, but we know it's supposed to be a big picture. People need to hear that. We need
Yeah.
that part of our spirit filled, because it's been void forever and a day. And that, if we talk about unity, when we begin to spiritually heal, the unity will follow. And we won't, again, there's nothing that will be able to stop us. Because there's a woman king in each and every one of us. We just got to tap in and then tap into each other. And that's the key for us. So again, we need what you're saying, because like you say, some people may not even be aware of how, like the television, kind of same thing, but it's social media.
Yeah.
And with the vibrations and the energy and the frequency and the waves, listen, it's real. There's a reason why if you put your phone on in your thigh, in your pocket, it gets warm. It's not supposed to get warm. It's not.
Mm.
It does. These are things we need to be aware of. So I'm not joking, but it's like the irony. We need to know about this. And you seem to understand that download. And yeah, you need to do that. And now usually don't use the N word, but we need that.
Mm-hmm.
We need
I'm
that.
gonna run it. I'm gonna run it. I'm gonna go ahead and do it and sit down and get her done. And yeah, that's gonna be on the 7th. And I appreciate having this talk, man, because I'm telling you, I probably the 7th would have came and I probably would have found a reason to push it off again. And there's something in me that didn't want to fully let it go and like delete the stream, but I've just been pushing it off. So that's confirmation to me that I need to stop doing that and stop playing with it.
And here's another one, says, keep doing your thing, Candy. That's what's in the comments. See what I'm saying? Yeah, you need to keep doing your thing. And hold on, let me
Hey,
get,
Queen.
before I let this go, I gotta get to El Boogie, because El Boogie, I appreciate, I'm just saying this. She says, I disagree. The behaviors of Black African men is what led us here, not the white man's plan. The white man's plan only cemented the already present behaviors. This is where I could push back just a little to say, before we were imported over here, that wasn't the case as much in Africa. It really was more of a collective culture and tribe. And let me say too that during the first Black Wall Street, Black men were not degenerate like they have become. So they have shown times where they can do better. What I can say though, El Boogie, is that the white man's plan was to continue to keep us separated. Now, I'll go with the fact that the Black man knows this and he continues to follow along in that, and I hold him accountable for that. And I've said that, and I will stand 10 toes down on that, especially when they bring out the Moynihan report. I say to them, look, the year, it was 60 something, right? They're like, yeah. And here we are in 2000. Yeah. So you knew they were setting you up then, and you still do degenerate behavior for them to set you up now to stay out of the home, and you still trying to blame the Black woman. How does that make sense? These are the questions that I ask them, El Boogie. And they get mad at me and, say that I hate me and everything. But I'm just saying, I think it's hand in hand, El Boogie. I agree with you. Our Black men should hold themselves accountable. I just want to also put systemically, though, it's been shown historically that there has been an agenda for Black genocide, systemic Black genocide. Okay, thank you. Okay, back to us, not Candy. But I just saw that in the comments. And I mean, she's right. I can't knock it. And y'all have been down here, and I apologize. Candy and I have been talking, and I wasn't paying attention to the comments. Listen, on my TikTok, I got a couple moderators, and they help me with that because I get so caught up in the conversations and the panelists and everything, and I forget to look in the comments. My bad, El Boogie and Queen. I just thank y'all for being here. And literally, I'm going to let her, because I know it's getting late. Everybody got to do their thing. But if anybody's interested, I am going to be heading over to the top in the next 30 minutes or so. I'm probably not going to stay on that long, but if I want them to follow, and I have to be consistent. So I'm going to head on over there. We're going to be talking about, well, I'll leave it up to, I'll say it like this. Come on over, and I think you'll be surprised on how I'm going to put this prompt over there as opposed to over here. Candy cane.
What's your TikTok name? I have a TikTok. I just created a TikTok like a week or so ago, and I have no content. I'm just an observer right now. What's your name on there?
Once hear us.
Okay.
I try to keep. I try to keep it the same for the most part across. So for me, forget about them too. The girl me. So I have one Spears over there, and I also have another account that I don't know what I want to do with that, but right now with the 700, 600, some whatever followers, it's on One Spear Us. And yeah, take the time to look through some of the content. I think you'll be. I don't know. I think it may surprise you a little bit, but not so much. I'm really into politics a lot over there. And believe it or not, and you may be Candy, kind of confirmation for me with that. I'm thinking about actually venturing out and venturing off and doing some gender types of platforms on certain days, panels on certain days. Because there's a need and they have it over there, but it's all about warring, and I'm not about that at all. If anything, it's kind of like what we were talking about. And I may venture out a little bit over there, just a couple of days a week to see what that's like, because I need to do more with listening to you and others, beautiful women. Let me just say, y'all are some gorgeous women, just not physically, your mindset, spiritually, like holistically, you got it together. And when over the years, when I've heard some of you all on panels or in the chats or whatever, I'm not going to lie, it saddened my spirit. It saddened my spirit because y'all were the good ones. Y'all are good, virtuous types of women that you really got some substance about you. And yet, sometimes to hear how the men virtually would, say certain things, I would have to get off, get out and go somewhere else. But I was thinking, what the hell? Like, what is wrong with these men? Like, why do they want to project all of their hostility with these decent women? And then that kind of made me kind of go down, not the rabbit hole, but kind of into this all these people. And it's like, wow, it's white man, like still goes back to the patriarchy. Like, what the hell? What is wrong with us? Like, what's these men, emotional men, children? What the hell? And now, as I'm hearing even more of it, I need to expand with my relational aspect of what I do, because I do have the duality, and it's not about warring, it's about loving. And you've inspired me I've been kind of toying with it for about 3 months now, and I already have content actually doing it. And let me ask you, do you think that's something that when you have time, because I would love to have like a one multi-guest type of deal, like you, Queen, like one at a time, of course, if with scheduling, but I would love for you all to come over with your ideas and be a part of my panel. Therefore, there's no whatever on your end. There's no backlash. You're just literally coming over and we're kind of having a discussion, kind of like what we're doing right now. Is that something later on you look at your schedule? I would love to have, maybe once a month or something like that, that I can increase my consistency, but they can also hear, and this is going to sound really conceited, but I don't mean for it to, like y'all are like put together. We got our flaws. Don't get it twisted. Everybody got the issues. I'm not saying that we, what I'm saying, on a pedestal, but for the most part, foundational wise, y'all are wholesome women. Y'all are good women. You may be freaks. I don't care about that. I'm just saying you're wholesome women that I think coming onto my panel will actually bring the other women over. And when the women come, the men will follow, that we can begin to
Yes.
kind of dismantle some of this quote unquote warring. Is that something that you think you'd be interested in, Candy?
I would. I don't. In fact, I like speaking on panels. I think when I first started joining, I think a while ago, I was really nervous about it. I'm a lot more comfortable with it now. And like you said, see, today I'll ask for a link and come up if it's something I feel like I want to say. So I don't mind joining the panel and having the conversation. That's why I keep my space open, is because I don't want to shun off the men who are not like the herd. And I know a lot of women don't want to hear. I ain't gonna say a lot, excuse me. There are some women who are very vocal and they're tired of hearing men. But that's not the purpose of my platform. I don't want an echo chamber, and I don't want it to be women bashing, men bashing. I want to have conversations from both sides, men and women, because I think when we stop listening for the, quote unquote good ones, I'm just using it like that. When we stop listening for the people who are part of the tribe, the allies or whatever, then you really put yourself at a disadvantage, because then it does become all men, because you've created that space in your head. I don't believe all men are bad, all men are this, all men are that. Are all men completely capable of violence? Yes. Are all men completely capable of brutality? Yes. But are some of them more evolved to where that is not their focus and they actually want to get along with women? Also, yes. And I want those men to come around, the ones who can have conversations and not feel the need to call bitch or get out of line. And like, it doesn't even have to be all that. And it can still be very entertaining. I feel like I'm funny when I really, really want to crack a joke. And I enjoy people coming and bringing different perspectives. I got to hear somebody whom I have written off in the past come on my platform and give me his perspective. And it made me look at him differently and say, oh, you're not a troll. You just happen to think differently. And I understand the way that you think. Now, like, I'll go to his platform and just support him, because I don't think that what you can troll. Don't get me wrong. I know sometimes what some of the things that he said is to troll and to get under people's skin, but most of what he is saying, he genuinely has a different way of thinking, and it's not to be antagonistic. So I think when we start shutting the men out of the conversation, we do a disservice to ourselves, not just them.
I can see that, and but I do have to push back a little bit. There are a few of panel people channels that I have not and will not. I've heard enough from them clips wise that my
No,
energy
I agree
is
with that.
just like ugh. And but to each his own. I'm not knocking it. I'm just saying I've heard that, and it just I don't know. I'm really funny when it comes to that my feminine energy, that
Hmm.
when it comes to men in general, but I like the fact that I have feminine energy. I don't want to feel like any kind of anxiety when I hear a masculine frequency. If anything, I should feel like, oh, okay, that. Anything other than that for me is
But
like, wow,
that's the
I
funny
couldn't get
part.
into that.
That's that's the funny part to me, is that
Mm.
every single person, every male that has come on my platform has been respectful, even JP, even him. So I think it has a lot to do with the panel holder, how they've set up and formed their channel, and then how you also approach the person who's, and he wasn't the person I was talking about when I said I have a different opinion of them. That's not who I was using as my example. I didn't want to say the name just because it's not really relevant, but every single, like, somebody asked me before about men coming onto my platform as though they're coming on like oogly eyed at me No, these men come and they have conversations and they contribute to the channel. Nobody has been out of line. Nobody has been disrespectful. When I've asked them to calm down, slow down, allow me to speak, they've all done so. So, uh,
I'm with
like I
you.
have,
And Kenny, here's that, and I think you're even validating my point about you and the need for you to be in the space that you're in and bring certain um, topics to the conversation, because I can see that you have and I've said this about you as well. Your spirit, you have a very calming spirit. You do. You really don't get, even if you feel in some kind of way, it you rarely show it. It's very much an even keel, and because you have that type of even keel, even with people that like this J person, all the other people that come in with their energy all over the place, you simmer it down. You
yeah,
set the tone. And it's not out of rudeness, it's not out of disrespect. If anything, it's out of respect for them. You want to hear what they have to say. Even though you may not
exactly,
agree, you still give them a platform that is safe to say what you have to say or feel however you're going to feel.
exactly,
Not a
exactly.
lot of people can do that, I guess is what I'm saying to you. Not a lot of people have that spiritual gift. And that's kind of really what it is. It's the spirit inspires you to have that gift. A lot, and yeah, a lot of people don't have it. And if they have it, they're not in touch with it. Either way, it's not helping the edification of us as a collective. I could say it like that. You, on the other hand, you broke the mold. You can, and you show it. We need more. We need more of that. And it's crazy that you were saying that, because on my TikTok, that's exactly the responses that I've gotten from MACA supporters, because they usually come up assuming X, Y, and Z. And again, like I think I shared, by the time they leave, not only have they followed me, they usually come back because they were pleasantly surprised. You know what I'm saying? They were pleasantly
Right,
surprised because I allowed them as long as when one person's speaking, the other person's listening, they're listening to add to the conversation and not just respond. The second one is if a woman is speaking, especially a Black woman, you're going to shut the hell up and allow them time to land their plane. Any other time, any
right,
other thing, they can rock out. But on my platform, as a Black woman, you can rock out whenever you want to, period, point blank, and you got my covering because we don't get it anywhere else. Other than that, rock out, do they thing.
right.
So that's where you're, that's why, you know what, yeah, come on over, because I would love to have that type of conversation with you on my following. I have enough
Yeah.
men that come through, now that I think about it, that it will be a pleasant surprise for them as well. Having someone, listen, I'm gonna keep it real. Optics is important too. You're beautiful.
Hmm.
They're gonna come on over anyway. Yeah, they're my followers because they're used to what I'm talking about. But girl, I'm not gonna lie, you eye candy, so therefore they'll pay attention. We got to get in where we can fit in. I ain't trying to pimp
I'm
you. I'm
so done.
saying you could be, you know what I'm saying? It could be advantageous for the both of us, is all I'm saying. Just think about it.
I'm gonna come through. I'm gonna come check you out because, like I say, I was very anti TikTok because I know a lot of that gender stuff was on there, the gender war and feeding the algorithm was real big over there. I remember Cynthia G used to show a lot of that mess, and I didn't want another avenue to be ticked off, so I just stayed away from it. And it wasn't until recently, because a friend of mine has been, she's into spirituality. She's like, you got to come over here. You got to see some of this stuff that people post, and then, I started doing short form content too, like clipping some of my streams. So I don't know. I'm gonna come over though, for sure.
Because for all you know, your tribe is also waiting on you over there.
Yeah.
I'm just saying, because I literally thought with mine, I would get it from YouTube, a fan base, really. But because I
Hmm.
really wasn't into TikTok, I had a thing with I'm like you. You can look. I may have a what you call it, the aluminum hat, tinfoil, whatever. I don't care. My history has shown me there's a reason why I be feeling funny. And so with
Hmm.
TikTok for a long time, I was like, no. If I got finished with the face to the book, I'm not going over there. And I want to say maybe the the earlier part of last year, or middle part of last year is when I, created an account again or something like that. And like the last maybe maybe 6 months or so, I've been kind of really on it. In the last 2 months in particular, because of my situation, I'm more settled now that I'm able to be more consistent. And again, I went from like 300 followers to like, I don't know, 690 something. I don't know, almost 700 in the last maybe 45 days or something like that.
Oh wow, that's a nice jump.
That's what I said. And I mean, again, it's the lives. There's just no, when you get 1 point something thousand views, they actually did follow. Some of them actually
How long
followed.
can you,
I was
how
shocked
long
too.
can a TikTok live be? How long are they? Can you do them like you do YouTube lives?
Now, listen, this is what's crazy because I've had some, I don't know, some marathons. I don't know what that was about, but when I started doing lives, I was on there for like 2 or 3 hours, sometimes 4 hours. I
Wow.
kid you not, out of nowhere. It was, and I think, no, I do know why, because I kept getting the views. They kept going and they kept coming in, they kept coming up to the panelists. So initially, I didn't really know how to shut it down because they kept coming, even when I was trying to shut it down. So I was like, forget it. I'm just going to let them rock out. You know what I'm saying? That's what the philosophy is, let them rock out. And so with that, I noticed after each live, I want to say at least 15 to 20 followers, at least.
That's so funny because I never knew that you could go live on TikTok like that. I always assumed it was just the short form content. It's interesting to know that. Okay.
They just changed it because I was looking at it as well because again, I didn't even have like 200. I don't even think I had like 300 followers at the time that I'm really trying to get into it. So I literally go in Google my AI, do my thing, chat GPT to ask. And apparently TikTok has changed their requirements. So they've lowered how many followers you have to have. Because at one
Okay.
time, I want to say it was like 1,000 followers or something like that. And I was thinking, there's no way in hell. Because I think, like I said, I think I had like 200 or maybe 100, something like that. It's like, oh, you just going to keep trying. Talking to myself, talking to the universe. We just going to keep going out there. We're going to see. We just going to see. And lo and behold, again, my thing was politics, and it was more of giving MAGA supporters an opportunity to come up and speak their speech. Uh, and,
Mm-hmm.
and every time they would come up, chop their asses down with the facts and behavior. So they would leave out better than they were when they came in. But it seemed to bring more of them to my channel. And then with the demon rats, I would bring them up too, allow them to, respectfully discuss different talking points of different current events. I would also shut them down and put all their asses on mute and let them know what the rules were and give them a warning. And then if they didn't get the warning, they gets the boot. I'm like Martin on that. It gets the stepping, and it's a block. I'll be having block parties over there. Luckily now I have a couple moderators that they do it for me. You understand?
Mm-hmm.
So I'm saying that to say, yeah, this is you were thinking right. They just lowered what their requirements were or are, and come on over and collab with me a little bit. And I know this sounds messed up, Candy, but if you're serious about it, this could really work for increasing your following quicker than you even want to. So you may want to think about before you come over because they're gonna follow you because I don't have people like that on my panel. Like I don't.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. Okay. All right. I don't even have I literally just created an account and I have nothing up there. I think I have one follower, which was the one person who was like, you need to come over to TikTok. And I'm like, okay. And so right now, when I just go through and scroll, I'm careful not to click on anything that looks like it's going to start that algorithming again. Right now, I look at food review stuff and recipes and like goofy stuff like that. Well, not goofy, but like things like that. So I'm going to check you out. I'm going to come follow you over there and see what's going on. And then you'll have to let me know when you want to host a panel. I'm usually the weekends are usually the best for me or at nighttime like this because then I'm off work and I can focus. Yeah.
Okay, weekends are better for me as well, so that works around this time. Because I've found too that followers are kind of relaxing and coming home and unwinding, and sometimes they use this TikTok as kind of like the part of their wind down time, if you will. And kid you not, started sometimes at this time and look up, it's like 11 o'clock. It was crazy to me. I'm not even kidding. But
Wow.
yes, and look, and then I go on my little analytics and I see it's like over 800 views. I'm like, what the hell? And I see a couple followers. No, that's a lie. I see about 10 followers. I'm like, what the hell? Wow. And I just keep go right back in because they don't know what I'm doing because we're having conversation. But it's like that over there. If you are in the right environment, and over there with mine, you're safe because you black and you're a woman. So ain't nobody gonna mess with you on my damn panel because I block them. That's just what that is too. But I
Yeah.
know, again, I've been keeping you. I thank you. I thank you for and everyone that came and gave love, Queen and Tiffany. I think I saw her, El Boogie, Sunquist. Son. Did I see Son? I think I saw her somewhere.
Yes,
Yeah,
she was here earlier. Queen
that's what I
Sunkiss was
saw.
here as well. Yeah.
Yeah. So again, I thank you guys for you all, because people are finding out saying guys to certain people is offensive. I'm from the South. We call everybody guys. But thank you everyone for coming in and showing support. Candy, I thank you for coming up and adding to this conversation. And I'm hoping that this is just the beginning of so many more conversations we're going to have. When you come over to TikTok, I'm telling you, they're going to love you because you you're organic, you're authentic. And that's why I'm excited that you said yes. To be honest, I think you're like the first person I've actually invited to come over and co-host with me. And that might have been a reason too, because again, I think the both of us together with the gender thing, we're gonna go back to that love. And behind closed doors, I'm gonna show you some content that I think that may actually help your, what's the word? Uh, you are a healer. You are here to help Black women and Black men understand not only do they have a need for each other, they actually really do like each other and they really do fit together like a hand in glove. You seem to be that type of catalyst that can help that healing.
That sounds like a big shoe to fill. Ooh, okay.
But here's how you do it. You do it with your voice. You do it by simply sharing who you are, sharing what you are, what you've experienced, what you've learned. That's it.
Are you
The
in the
rest,
Discord?
I need to get back into the Discord. The app be acting up on me, and I'm gonna keep it real. It's been like 3 months. I don't know. I need to check it. I'm gonna tell myself to check it today. I think I still
Okay.
am. Queen, am I still in? Let me go
Because
check.
I think that's the easiest way to like share information behind the scenes and to keep in communication. For me with the ladies has been through the Discord.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay. All right, I'll do that. I'll get more engaged. Oh, I was going through my stuff and I shut everything out. Yes, including Discord. And you ladies, listen, thank y'all for sending me love, energy. I felt it. I just needed to, I didn't know what the hell I needed, to be honest with you. But the recovery, clean bill of health, I'm back to
Mhm.
better than I was. I thought that I was going to have some grieving and all that good stuff. And, yeah, I have it ever so often, but for the most part, nah, I'm going to live the next, 43, 44 more years, hit that century mark. I'm going to live my bestest life. I had to kind of get to myself in order to get with the universe, my ancestors, and come to that, it's okay kind of come to Jesus moment, if you will. And
Mhm.
now that I'm back, I just want to thank y'all because I did feel y'all. And yeah, I'm back now. So I'm going to get in that Discord and we can definitely exchange it. And I can share some other things with you too. that I
Okay.
think will help us both in our journey. Because again, Kenny, I don't believe in coincidences. So there's a reason why you came up, and my wheels are turning. I'm not going to freaking lie to you. My wheels are turning content wise. We both are about to get paid. I'm not like extra money. I'm just, that's a lie. A couple coins here, a couple coins there. That's all. Let me get off this.
Listen, I'm not opposed to that. I mean, if I'm on here enough anyway, I might as well make some money off of it while I'm at it. That's how I look at it.
We're going to figure it out. We're going to figure it out together.
Yeah.
I'm not even kidding. We're going to figure it out together because I think this can really be some little residual for the both of us. But listen, again, I could just talk to you forever and a day. I know you got to do. Thank you guys for coming. Again, I appreciate it. L Boogie, listen, I'm sliding on over in about 30 minutes to my TikTok because I got people waiting on me because I know they're about to cuss me out about what I'm going to say. Y'all more than welcome to come over there, get a kiki, kaka, do me a couple of heart likes, you know what I'm saying? Follow, definitely follow. And let me know you are sending that energy because, girl, y'all, I may need it with this one. I'm getting it from the preps and I'm getting it from the MAGAs. So usually it's one or the other. It's going to be both tonight, and I'm looking forward to it. Y'all need to come on over. But thank you all.
I'll definitely be there.
Thank y'all. Listen, I'm going to head out so I can get on over there. But I appreciate you all so much. Y'all be good, okay?
Good night.
Good night. El Boogie, Queen, and Tiff, thank you. I appreciate you all. I so do. You have no idea. Y'all hung in there with me a whole 3 hours. I don't know how to do it myself. Thank y'all. And we did a little, hold on. As far as I'm aware, you're still in, unless you removed yourself from, oh, okay. Let me check. No, I haven't even been in there to remove myself or anything. So I think I'm good. But if you want to hear Kiki and the Kaka, come on over. Give me about 15 minutes so I can get everything ready, and then I'm going to head on over. But again, thank you so much. Until next time, Ashe.